The following podcast contains naughty language and ridiculous situations. Listener discretion is advised.
I'd like to thank everyone who came out, participated, and took part of this awesome weekend. Whether I saw you at a spooky Halloween maze or at the DCU Center, at our booth at Rock and Shock, or at Live Trick or Treat Radio, or if I didn't even see you at all at a haunted speakeasy. Our compatriots and us managed to put together a pretty fucking cool weekend if you were traveling in for Halloween. I think on the weekend, this weekend of the 12th through 14th, Worcester, Massachusetts was the coolest place to be in the world if you were a horror fan. And I appreciate everybody who made the trip, took the time, and got down. If you didn't, if you want to continue to worship corporate false idols and, go to Six Flags spooky theme parks while there's fucking real-life stuff going on, I don't hate you. I feel sorry for you. Because us, my friends, in this weekend was fucking awesome. Onward and upward. Welcome to Trick or Treat Radio.
Welcome all you little zombies. You're listening to Trick or Treat Radio, starring the Deadites.
Welcome to episode 325 of Trick or Treat Radio. Trick or Treat Radio is a phantasmagorical spin kick straight through the heart of pop culture, navigated by the Deadites. The Deadites are the world's greatest electroshock band. We destroy monsters, we drink booze, we win championship belts, and we recover from Rock and Shock weekend.
Oh, man.
I can tell the energy's a little low in this room.
Still working on it.
Yeah, man, we talked about it unintentionally, tersely, but this is like we are way past critical mass when we hit this episode of this show every single year. Like I'm not even sure that I think we're doing the wrong thing.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I always worry that this one we're doing the house show, Trick or Treat Radio.
Should we take a week off? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know what the right thing to do is.
All right, that's it for the show. We'll see you guys next week.
It's certainly helped me finish some of these fucking comics. I bit off more than I could chew, that's for sure.
This is the small portion of our lives where we burn the candle at both ends.
I'm fine.
No, because he fucking works out and he's fucking
Yeah, of
vegan
course he
and
is.
he's healthy and he fucking does
There it is. There's the energy.
Yeah, he doesn't fucking smoke or take speed to wake up.
There you
Smoke
go.
or take
Yeah,
speed.
you're so fucking perfect, Johnny.
I think John, I
He
don't
is
know.
fucking perfect.
Far be it from me, but I think fucking Johnny looked good. He fucking kept pace.
No, I'm making.
He's not some weird genetic freak like I am that doesn't sleep and only sustains on bad food and still continues to go.
No, he was doing flips.
Hey, he's fucking good.
Flips.
I fucking slept.
You
there.
know-
This was the first Rock and Shock that I literally wasn't sore or dead at the end.
Yeah, it's good. You look good, and your hair looks good.
Thanks.
I realized I think Raven Shadow's the only. I have to do this inventory again, but we were talking about it in the basement. I think Raven Shadow's the only
We're
one
talking
all
about it
the
in the
way-
basement.
all the way through the fucking whole, like from the sound dude to everybody. I think he's the last holdout on the smoke train. Could I be right about that?
It could be. Yeah, it's kind of lonely out there in the smoking section of the cove. Oh, thank you. But no, I fucking slept. I slept from Sunday night, I want to say, from like 9:45 till like 12 the next day.
Well, you had to log a lot of
Nice.
log a lot of miles too, in addition to doing the
Yeah, yeah.
giving credit where credit is due. Like, in addition to not relieving Monster Zero at the merch booth, even though I politely asked you to,
I don't think you did.
I did, and you know what you said to me?
What's that?
I paid.
No,
And
I
like, that's
didn't.
not- I was like, that's not what I meant, and you went. And then you, like, because that whole thing was going on at the time, you just weren't paying attention to me at all, but I didn't realize.
I don't remember that at all. I
said, I
apologize.
said, you're on the list, and can you
How about
help him out?"
apologizing to me while you're at it?
No, well, Aries could have watched the booth.
What are you
but no,
apologizing to him for?
I don't remember that at all. I didn't remember that.
I mean, you did have a lot going on. You were very proud of your big reveal, so I get it. But
Yeah.
I didn't.
That
I
was
didn't-
his contribution for the
Yeah,
weekend.
I didn't know
What
that
big
he was. I didn't know that he was there all night
What
until
big
the next
reveal?
morning.
You mean the reveal where you stared at someone who was there as a surprise for 30 seconds?
Oh, that.
Literally staring so Raven Shadow and I knew we had one of our friends and listeners come in from out of town.
Orchestrated a master plan, Johnny.
Well, did you really?
Well, I talked
Or
to
did
him.
he?
Well, I talked to him, and I put over
You
the
just kept a
event.
secret
Yeah, well,
and offered your place up.
this is still a pot. Still a cog in the wheel.
So we had this big surprise brewing, and I not found out about it, but I knew about it. He approached me with it, and it was supposed to be a surprise. So Raven Shadow rolls in around 6:37, something like that on Friday.
Fair.
And granted, you had a good excuse for rolling in late, very good excuse, and he has the surprise guest. And I went up to the surprise guest. Didn't even recognize me at first.
Oh, really?
Which I thought was funny because he's like, oh shit, Wolfie.
No, I think it was
No, you guys were
6:30.
walking.
It was like 6:30.
That's what I said, 6:30 or 7.
Oh.
So said hello to our guest, and then was walking towards the booth, and then MZ was like, hey, MZ, look.
Huh?
He's just staring, 30 seconds.
Yeah, I'm just staring at him. I'm like, I've seen him before, but I'm not exactly sure where. And my head's tilting, in a quizzical pose. And I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah, 30 seconds,
Then
and
it
then he
clicked.
realized.
Now, I saw him before he walked over to me at the club. And I had an existential crisis because I said, this looks like that person. But for some reason, I thought that person was taller. And then I thought I was being wicked racist.
Why?
Because I was thinking that obviously.
No.
Everyone with a shaved head looks like that guy. But nope. As soon as he came over and, I saw that smile, I knew who it was. So it was one
And
of
the
fucking
big
cool
surprise was Evil Corny.
Yeah.
Yep.
Evil Corny came from Alabama and had all kinds of travel issues, right, Raven Shadow?
Oh my God! It was
Oh.
a demon hell ride.
Yeah.
The plan was, and it was
Poor
great
guy.
because he, we were talking back and forth, and we talk often, and he remember showing me, sent me a message of a picture of his ticket and his itinerary, and it was perfect because he was coming in to the local Worcester Necronomicon Airport, which is literally right down the street from my house. It's less than a cigarette smoke away by car. And it was perfect. He's supposed to come in at 4 o'clock on Thursday, which I was going to leave work early and then fly out on Sunday. Perfect, up the street from the event. So there was some bad weather that week. There was Hurricane Michael was running amok. So he was,
Yeah.
So he was able to fly in from Bama to Philly, but he got stuck in Philly. So his 4 o'clock flight became a 10 o'clock flight, which became a 10:30 flight, which became an 11:30, which became he ain't fucking flying anywhere.
Yeah, canceled.
Although it's funny though, he sends me a picture of a receipt he had, and the receipt was 666. So it was very fear and final destination. But so he had to stay in a Philly airport overnight, which sucked. And then he was able to fly into Logan.
Have you seen Final Destination?
I saw the first one.
All right.
So instead
No
of
devil in that one.
Oh well, but I'm writing a prequel.
instead of flying into Worcester, which is literally a 10-minute drive for Raven Shadow,
Right.
it ended up being Boston, which was an hour and 10-minute ride,
Yeah,
right?
don't get tricked by that because that's never gonna happen.
What's that?
That airport is not set up to be a real airport, and it's gonna anything will throw it like one flight delay. They're flying to Boston or Rhode Island.
Oh, well, that was the thing too, because we saw him on Sunday. And we're like, yeah, we're on a hill. When the fog comes in, no one's flying. Right. It was like that. But so we're riding into Logan for 8:15 time, and then I wasn't on time. So around 9 o'clock, we get the message that his luggage been delayed, and we don't know where the fuck it is.
No.
So eventually get out of there at 11 and take him back to Necronomicon, Mass. But he had a demon hell ride.
But finally it worked out.
Yep.
Got Evil Corny to the event. MZ stared at him for 30 seconds, realized who he
Who
was.
the fuck is this? That ain't Slagoth.
I'm still curious if he knows who 12 Gauge and Moraz like he's only been introduced to him dozens of times.
Yeah. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Slegos says, Mars, when I saw you last year, it was very emotional.
Yeah, it was very emotional.
And he said, Corny messaged me at 3 a.m. telling me he was still at the airport. I was like, holy fuck, that damn storm.
It sucked.
The only thing that sucked about it being a surprise, because it felt really good to see him, was that. Was that your ass?
Don't look at me. That wasn't me.
It wasn't me.
No, it was certainly.
Definitely wasn't me.
It was not me.
It was not me.
I don't know.
Was it? You
Somebody's
still watching the
stomach.
movie?
No.
Oh,
Somebody's stomach just went.
it's probably Raven Chat was
Are
after
you so
wolfing
fucking
down that
dumb
pizza.
you don't even know what's going on below your neck anymore?
Oh.
Well,
Um,
we're above his neck.
The only thing that sucks about it being a surprise is that I probably would have planned my weekend so that I didn't
Conceivable.
just spend one day at Rock and Shock. And then because I spent one day at Rock and Shock, I had a whole day worth of Rock and Shock to do. Like I came for a little while on Friday, and then longer than I wanted to, longer than I thought I was, I should say, on Saturday. And then I was so glad to get out because I don't even want to talk about it, but all I kept hearing is people saying, I don't want to do this. I don't want to hang out with these people. I don't want to do this. I leave for 1 minute, and I should just leave Johnny in charge of everything. Like everything would be okay.
Then we
with Johnny
needed
was in
Uno's
charge.
every time.
Well, I think I think that it wasn't so much even Uno's as much as I hate it. I can't talk about it, but I was fucking mad because the Raven Shadow knows.
I know.
Yeah, you know, because every fucking motherfucker there except you and Bill by Force said I don't want to do that. And this Jamoke, who wasn't even there, I don't think, said I want to do. I don't want to do this thing, and then everybody did that fucking thing. So. So fucking mad. Still mad thinking about it. But thanks Raven Shadow for kind of tipping me off ahead of time, or else I probably would have fucking come in throwing plates between Bill and Raven Shadow. But yeah, so yeah, and then I had the Haunted Maze, which was fucking awesome. You guys are not gonna believe how fucking awesome it is.
Bigger and better.
Oh man, you don't even know. Like, not to sound like you, but
Bambaleo, come on, Titans.
you legitimately don't even know. Like, it's crazy. Like you know, it's like
He's getting tons of press too.
yeah.
Is he real?
Yeah.
Well, you know, local papers. You know, he's
Yeah.
in a couple towns, local
He's
papers.
almost
already.
getting too much press, I would say.
maybe
Yeah.
to the point where he's gonna have to do.
Well, he was late
He's gonna outdo himself for
because he texted me.
No, he's gonna have to rent someplace. He's not
Yeah.
gonna be able to do it at his
Yeah.
house.
He texted me and said that I can't get out of my house. There's like 100 people in my driveway.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And I was like, well, I thought my sister was going to run the maze. And he goes, no, you don't understand. I
literally
physically
can't, yeah.
cannot get out of my house, out of my driveway, rather, because there's 100 people. So that was cool. And I guess the first night of Nikki Luparelli and the Gold Diggers featuring Donna Matrix went fucking great. Well, the first night that she was there anyway. And I don't know if I'm jumping ahead too much, but like, I feel like the Deadites sounded great.
They did.
Like, I felt like that was a great set. Like, you know, we talked about some logistics afterwards that didn't have anything to do with us, but I can hear, you know, no disrespect to anyone else, and I certainly don't think who's been mixing us was doing a bad job, but for me, Roger LaValle is a fucking hero. Like, Roger LaValle, it just is a different thing when Roger is mixing us. You know what I mean? Like, so I could hear the stuff I couldn't hear. Like, I feel like probably would have. Like, I can hear everything when someone else is mixing us sometime, you know, but like, you know, Teddy mixes, I hear everything, right? But sometimes I shouldn't hear some of that stuff because I start competing with the synth or whatever, you know what I mean, as opposed to just trying to be where I should be in the mix or whatnot, you know. So, you know, it was great. That Crazy Rascal, I couldn't look at. Every time I fucking looked, I know Johnny doesn't like him, but every time I looked at fucking Round Trip Jones, he was doing something that, like, he was on the fucking floor with a drum. Like, I don't know what kind of coffee he got into this time, but like, it was fucking wild. And I thought that though she posed as Andy Christ, I think our newest member, Elvira Longoria, sounded pretty fucking awesome.
That was Antichrist.
That was a surprise.
Yeah.
You've been drinking for a while.
He's good at disguises. But,
If you- I don't want to derail this conversation. I'm just going to do a quick little detour, and I'm just going to tell everyone what we're doing, because otherwise I won't say
we
it.
won't
So
do it. Yeah. Hand
so-
me cookies while he's talking.
So tonight we're going to be talking about the latest film from Gareth Evans, director of the Raid films, and his new film is a Netflix exclusive, Apostle. So we're going to be talking about that, starring Dan Stevens, and then obviously we're talking about Rock and Shock. That's going to take up a lot of the intro here and maybe a little bit of the outro.
I was a little
And
disappointed.
we got some voicemail. So if you guys want to get in voicemail, you got to get them in soon. Because we're got a pretty good amount so far. So if you do want to send something in, if you're listening live, podcast at trickortreatradio.com, and voicemail, email, whatever you want. If you had watched Apostle, or if you're at the Rock and Shock show and want to talk about it, please feel free. And the other thing I was going to mention is Evil Corny in the chat room said, he says, "Why do you think I was that tall, Mars?"
I don't know. I had no idea. I thought you were fucking giant. I had no idea. I literally had in my head that you were a giant.
And Leanna is hanging out. She says, "How was Rock and Shock corny?" He says, "Nice, I loved it." He says, "Where the hell's Aries?" Creepy Girl says, "Next year I'm making the trip. I've always wanted to stay in Salem in October.
Nice.
Well, that's
Stay in MZ, Chateau MZ."
Ooh.
Salem is like
Salem-
almost 2 hours away, though, so that's not.
No,
gonna
it's
be-
an
No,
hour, 10 minutes.
it's about an hour, 10 hour,
It's hour 10,
25 minutes away. But it's hell getting there
Yeah, it's not-
at this
it's no
time of
fun
year.
in Halloween.
It's
I don't
not.
know
It's not hell getting there. It's hell parking.
Hell parking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to like take a train in, or just park, or if you don't mind
If
driving
you-
around looking for parking, you might find something, but
Yeah.
it's a pain in the ass.
Bill
Or
was
if you-
saying that he's just going to park at his house and walk in when he
Yeah.
has to go to Salem.
Yeah,
I
that's
said,
fine.
like, yeah.
Yeah,
we
it's a
got-
cab fare.
We got Raven J's hanging out.
There you go, Raven J.
Hey, Raven J.
Let's see what else. Who else we got? We got Slegoth
Nice.
Hey, dude.
and Riku.
Nice.
We got Raven J I mentioned, and I don't know. I think there might be some other people, but chat's moving too quick. So
Bunch of other motherfuckers.
bunch of other motherfuckers. And it sounds like Slegoth might be coming back next year as well.
Oh, there's a lot of things,
Awesome.
a lot of irons in the fires, John.
So next year is Rock and Shock.
17.
I guess
15.
next year is 15. I thought this year was 16, but I guess next year is 15. Yeah.
So
Jeez.
And Corey says, but Corny does look tall on Facebook.
he does.
He does.
And I have an agenda for the 15th. I'm trying to make it so like I got it in my head for that weekend that Worcester is the coolest place to be for a horror fan. So I'm going to make it even cooler next year. I talked to some people at the Skip Shea Film Festival. As soon as I finish some of these things, I'm going to start making. Well, actually, I have another thing before that to do. Man, my life is fucking cesspool.
And the other thing too is normally they don't do this, but Rock and Shock announced next year's show already,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's going to be October 11th, 12th, and 13th.
They do a lot. I just don't believe them.
They didn't do
Clear-
last. They didn't do
They
last
didn't
year.
do last
No.
year, but
So
they did,
clear
they
your
did the
calendar.
year before that.
Boys and girls.
So if you guys do want to come next year, just mark that on your calendar right now. October 11th, 12th, and 13th, 2019, at the DCU Center in Worcester, Massachusetts, and we hope to see even more of you guys,
Yeah.
and maybe some returners, like Slegoth said he might be
Ooh,
coming
yeah.
back.
Yeah.
So,
Corny, come back.
Slegoth says, "I'm shorter than all you motherfuckers."
One
all right.
of my agendas is to get my my digital publishing partner there next year. So that should be
Julie
nice.
Meow Meows.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
Better
maybe
get a
our head
restraining
author,
order.
maybe our
Uh-oh.
head author, the enigmatic Kaz Meow Meow. So like maybe he'll show. up.
Kiaz Meow Meow.
Yep.
What?
I've cooked him.
You added way too many vowels in there.
A little over enunciated, I think.
Oh, shut up!
It's like
you
Kaja
the
Gugu.
whole first 15 minutes that you got here, you didn't say real words. Not even one real word. You went until someone gave cookies and free movies. Then you're like, ooh, this
Yeah. Oh, free movies. I don't have this one. Oh,
Hey,
this one.
hey,
Sleepaway Camp.
Oh,
And I didn't even
Sleepaway
give
Camp's
them to
my
you.
Favorite movie.
Yeah, you did.
No, I
I
did.
have-
Yeah, you did. You handed them right to me.
Well, yes, I didn't. I didn't mean you could take them.
Give him back that Sleepaway Camp.
Yeah, you can't
Give it
have
back.
that. You
Give it
can't-
back.
You're getting
No,
back
you
to
can't have.
Give
no,
it back.
No, they're mine. I'm gonna rub my junk on them.
Ah,
Give him to Aries.
gross. Oh, speaking of which, we'll do intros
Scratch and
in
sniff.
a bit. But Aries was at a concert tonight, so he's gonna be running late.
Yeah, he told me he was coming.
Ooh.
Who's he seeing?
Speaking of
We'll ask him when he's here.
speaking of junk, I treated your junk properly this week.
Oh, that was the best.
Yeah, you and everyone else. Jesus.
No, it was just him.
Yeah.
How many-
no.
I gotta look into.
Raven Shadow.
You
was
got a
also-
lick?
No, I mean a smack. He smacked me back though. It hurts. I'm not gonna do that again.
Yeah.
When did this happen?
He gives you a backhand right in the balls, and I just elbow him right back.
Yeah, I'm not supposed to do that.
Well, I did it.
That hurt.
I'm the kind of guy that breaks the rules.
You know what I love? The funniest thing in a weekend it won't translate is how Michael Ravenshadow said one of those things that one of those like he's like, you want some apples? Like
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
you like
so how you
apples?
like them? Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
it.
I
Yeah.
like them apples.
Oh, and then that put Rook on the floor.
yeah. There's actually a picture of that where he's on.
Yeah,
the
I have
floor,
that
think.
picture,
Okay.
That's the best.
Yeah.
Where he's
That's
laughing
So-
so hard that.
So
he's on
this
the floor.
weekend was pretty fucking awesome. Like there was a
Yeah.
lot of awesome people hanging out. We as per usual, at least for the last 2 years, we were right next to our buddies Kyle and Bill from Survival of the Film Freaks.
Yeah.
Got to hang out with those freaks all weekend, and we had I know I'll forget people, so I'm not going to even bother naming names, but we did bring for the live show. I'll name the people we brought up for the live show. We had Jasper Tales, Jasper
Yep.
and Michael Neal.
Yep.
And then we also had Brian Paulin. We had Jarrett Blinkhorn. We had Jimmy Gonzalez. We had
Derek Rook.
Derek Rook. We had Bill by Force come up and talk about his movie. And I think there was one more.
no, I think that was it, right? Jimmy
Did I say
Gonzalez.
Brian Paulin? I said
Yep.
Brian Paulin, yeah. Okay, I think that might have been it.
Whoops. I just got an important message here.
Yep.
And I think it's better if you read it because you have such a nice voice.
Mhm.
It's from a former Deadite, so it's important.
Okay. A former Deadite.
Well, Hall of Famer.
Oh, okay.
That's the way we brand it now.
All right. So it is, should I say who it's from?
Yeah.
From Fabio Frizzi. Says,
Oh.
tell Raven Shadow that he dances like a chump.
Listen, Freezy. I was accosted on the dance floor.
How much did it cost to you?
Well, it cost me some dignity. Well, what the?
Jeez, you didn't have a lot to say.
I know.
Yeah,
I was saving that
Do
up.
you have any to spare?
No, but like the he pulls me over and dances. I don't want to do that. I'm by the bar with some people having a good time. I got my
Pow with the
Narragansett-
bar?
Yeah, dang a dang diggy. I got my Narragansett tall boy, and he's running me amok. So then I do a little business, give the people a show and go sit down away. Pulls me
You were
back
doing
over.
like this dance.
Yeah. Well, I'm wearing a suit. I don't want to tear anything. I got a can, like a big fucking hand cannon
A
can.
hand cannon can?
Yeah.
The hand cannon
It's a big
can.
tall boy. And then it was all right when Miss M came out. That was nice. But then she left. And it was just me and Freezy. I didn't want that. Man, keep your hands to yourself, Freezy.
I know we're jumping around, but speaking of Miss M, I'm glad that Jimmy and the Survival of Film Freaks guys finally got to see how much a portion of the Deadites legitimately fears Dominatrix. And how she rules us with an iron hand.
You know what's funny? Maybe this is a little inside baseball, but toward the end of the night, I was getting ready to leave, and I went downstairs to get my stuff, and there was Jimmy Gonzalez and Ms. M talking about like pharmaceuticals.
Right.
I was like, what is even going on down here?
So, you know how Tiny teases me brutally. Like, he's nice to everyone else except Raven Shadow and well, he's nice to Johnny. And he was not letting me talk, and I was starting to get really nervous because we needed to take back the night. Like, it was important. Like, it's not exactly a tangential thing, but everyone felt like we had lost the night. We needed to take it back. So I'm trying to get everything going. And he was doing every time I talk, he was doing like, and it would stop. This is for the people like on air, and maybe most of you can't see me, but Matrix like doesn't even fucking look up. She's on the other side of the room, right? She looks at her phone and she goes like this. Tiny. Stop. And Tiny stopped. He just looked down like he was a little kid in trouble. Like Kyle was dying. Like it was like he just like literally he went from like big, tiny white seeming 1,000,000 feet tall to like a small child not wanting to be beaten. So I was laughing at the Film Freaks booth. That was a thing. So that was pretty funny. Yeah.
In the chat room, we just had Matchel of Omaha pop in and says, "Hey, y'all, watching, listening on YouTube while doing some work this evening. Popped on to say hey for a sec."
I'm a Leo.
Hey.
And of course, he also gave us a fucking donation again.
Dude, Jesus, dude.
Man, Matchel, you're too kind to us, man.
yeah.
Too
Stop
kind. We appreciate that, though, buddy. Thank you so much. And if anyone else is interested in doing so, you can do so on the front page of trickortreatradio.com.
Thank you.
Scroll down, there's a donate button right there. So thanks, Matchel. We appreciate it, buddy. And let's see. Yeah, we got so much to talk about. Like, I don't even know where
it's
to.
tough.
Because I guess we'll start with. I mean, we've already sort of been talking about it, but the Trick or Treat Radio Masquerade Extravaganza.
Good times.
We had a really good time. Cinema Therapy kicked
Fucking
ass,
awesome.
right?
They're great.
Yeah, it was fucking awesome. That is one of the it's simple, right? Like it's not like he all of a sudden like is anybody's gonna ever say like he's like taking out a whole new door or whatever. But this simple, awesome, eloquent thing, right? And he told me how he came up with it, right? And why he came up with it, which made it even more brilliant to me. Was one of the fucking coolest things, and the sound in the Cove is great, and like just to hear some of those songs,
Yeah.
and see those images in that way, and it like kind of goes through you. I love it.
Yeah. Cinema Therapy was really awesome that night. It's the kind of thing that sends chills down your spine if you're a big-time horror fan.
I agree. Like, again, like, I saw that set up all day, right? Or, but once it got going, like, I was like, I don't know, like, it's almost like how I often talk about, like, when I will see Curtain Society play every once in a while, that I'll hang around with those guys that whole day and hang out, but as soon as it fucking see sound check, but something about this, like, something, like, it just strikes me when it starts, and I'm, like, just, along for the ride, and it was just fucking great.
It was pretty outstanding.
And Jimmy stayed at the Cool Kids Cave all weekend, and, like, it was fucking, he's just great. He was great, hung out, helped me take care of drunk Freezy. Yeah, Freezy ended up staying at the Cool Kids
Oh, yeah,
Cave.
he was a little fucked up.
At one point, I looked up. So, like, Freezy goes, I don't want to go to sleep. I want to watch movies all night. And I'm like, what? Whatever. You know what? Nobody ever watches movies with me. I'll stay. I'll fucking take the hit for the next day.
Take the hit.
And we'll get to that in a minute because I definitely took the hit. So I start watching a movie, right? I'm like, you ever see Reanimated 2? I don't think I saw Reanimated 2. And he goes, no, I'll watch it from here, right? So I moved a chair so he could kind of lie in bed and watch it, right? And I looked up at one point. I don't even know how he did it. It looked like he was like shrink wrapped in a blanket. Like he had a blanket like over his feet, under his legs. Like it was like, I don't know how he did it. Like it looks like a ghost came and like he looked like he was in a body bag. Like there were blankets tucked under him. I have no fucking clue how he did it.
He mummified himself.
The ghost tucker.
Freeze wrap Fabio Freezy.
Yeah.
So
He's
yeah,
right,
no,
Freezy.
it was wild, and
Freezy
one
dry.
thing I am afraid of, and you could tell me, Freeze, if this happened. At one point, I forgot you were there, and you might have looked up and seen me snap at the carrot.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Or maybe you knew he was there.
Yeah. That's not the first time that's
No,
happened,
well,
I'm sure.
I mean, I don't know. I was standing over it.
Freezy, you sleeping?
Standing over him.
No, hey, that's my kid. That's
What the fuck?
I
Freezy.
That's even weirder.
Freezy, you up? Because I am.
Freezy, this is how
Freezy, you wearing your
born.
Air Sharkies today?
Freezy,
Hand him over.
Freezy, I'm going to rename you first name Air, last name Sharky.
Frosted Freezy.
That's fucking disgusting.
No, but that was great. And the crazy thing is, I fell asleep. I'm not even exaggerating. I don't even know if I talked to you guys about this. I fell asleep for about 20 minutes, right?
During the live show, yes, we know.
No. We're getting there. I fell asleep for about 20 minutes at night in like a fucking phantom. In that 20 minutes, Freezy was gone. Not just out of bed, not just out of the room, like fucking gone.
He freeze wrapped himself.
I don't know how he didn't drive. So I don't know. Like I literally stuck my head out the window to see if he was like in the road. Like I have no idea where he went. Like it was fucking crazy. Like he just up and was gone. No, here comes the sunshine.
Yeah.
I got sunshine, I got rain.
Oh.
Oh, look at him. He's wearing a Secret Stash
Look at you.
sweatshirt.
Jersey boy, huh?
Yeah.
You just get back from Jersey?
Get your plug. Very little outlets.
MZ put that art on your chair.
I thought we were gonna get through the.
MZ, take that from him.
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
Put it where you found it.
In the closet.
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna get through the actual talk of the Halloween extravaganza without Aries being here and telling us how terrible we were.
Well,
No,
I
usually
didn't
you
turn
just
your
tell us
mic
that
on
we're
yet.
awful.
Go ahead.
Okay. What'd you do that was terrible?
I don't know. Sing usually is what you say.
You make it sound like when have I ever said something was terrible?
Oh my God.
2 weeks ago when we reviewed Housewife.
No, that's, well,
No, even the last
you guys do.
like 4 weeks you've been saying that for a little while though.
What?
That he's bad.
What movies? The movies may be bad.
You forgot how to talk into a mic for?
You talking to me?
Yes, I'm talking to you.
Well, I just got to sat down and take my shoes off and button my pants or anything. Look at my keys are still in my damn hand.
So yeah.
Let him get settled in.
So far, we have come out of the Halloween extravaganza Aries, the first night of Rocket Shock. Where one thing I was waiting for you to get here. My favorite part.
By
of
the way,
Rocket
Leanna
Shock-
just popped for Aries.
Right.
I think she's
Well,
come
that's something that
come
hasn't happened
around.
with him in like 20 years.
I think she's come around. I think she likes you now.
Why wouldn't she?
It's fleeting.
That's
Because she has every reason to.
yeah. I can think of a billion. Aries. So I got there. And you know how like even though you can see all the pieces of something, like right in the middle of like Rocket Shock, I was like, I feel like I texted Tiny. I'm like, so I just got the Rocket Shock, and I think we might have to have a talk about Aries. And it's like, why? I'm like, he's definitely in the middle of his fucking convention center doing crafts right now. I'm not positive like what he's.
It was awesome.
It turned like one. So then I went away and it was done and hung up and it was the coolest fucking
No, no.
thing ever.
Crap. Oh, my sign.
Yeah,
Your
it was
sign,
so
yeah.
fucking
Yeah, where's
cool.
my sign?
It's in the merch
It was
merch bin.
so fucking cool.
Although Raven Shadow broke it.
No.
What?
No. No. Fucking really, Johnny?
Uh-oh.
No, I didn't.
He
break
pulled
it.
the screws
Oh,
out of
that,
it,
yes.
and
Listen,
and some of the wood came off when
Why
he
would you
did.
pull the screws out?
Hey, listen, no, I was trying to cut.
You're not going to
I
get a
was
better
trying to cut-
answer than
It's not broken.
You do know it's a screw. You don't pull it, right? You
I
twist
didn't,
it.
I didn't know what it was, to be honest with you.
Apparently.
But no, I was trying to get it off with my Letterman.
Leatherman, you David Leatherman.
Yeah. David.
it was on there
Tonight's
with
guest
tape.
is I'm gonna break this wood.
No.
It was
So,
it was on there
tonight's
with
guest
tape.
is
You
fuck
didn't
this
need
sign.
anything.
fuck your sign, Aries.
Fuck this
Fuck
sign.
your sign. No,
I mean, you
it's
could have
fine.
cut the tablecloth.
I mean, he worked really hard on
No,
that.
and it showed. No. It's just we just gotta rescrew. We just gotta rescrew the tiny little screws.
Yeah, but I think you broke. I think
Eye-hole
you broke.
No,
the
I
board.
checked. No,
Those
I
are called
checked.
eye-hole screws.
Yeah, well, you're a fucking
Screws.
expert. You can fix
Scrolls.
it. Yeah,
Screws.
Fucking Dead Sea Scrolls over here.
I who scrolls the shapeshifter.
Scrolls.
No, they popped out. They popped out really easy. They go back right back.
So thank you so much, Aries, because
Yeah,
that was
so-
fucking
So
awesome.
was
now
nice.
it's stripped.
Aries
The hole is stripped, and now you gotta
made a really nice sign.
yeah,
Handmade,
hand painted.
hand painted,
Handmade, not
handmade.
handmade. I used a machine.
Oh come on! I was
It's
giving you more
hands.
credit.
Does the machine run itself? Just fucking Chrysler in 1987.
Yeah.
Like you had to make that machine go, right?
Yeah, man makes
Yeah.
machines.
Oh, we might have a new title here.
What?
Fucks furniture and wears the skin of David Leatherman. Raven Shadow, the Duke of Degeneracy.
That's true. Who said that?
Leanna,
She's out of control.
the Duke of Degeneracy.
I like that. Put that title there. Break it down.
Raven Shadow. Something I wanted to tell you actually that you probably heard at the shop. But I have a word for your type of help. Like I really appreciate your help, and I just want you to know like what you would file that type of help on.
Oh yeah, what's that?
Vandalism.
Vandal Savage.
Speaking of the shop, real quick detour. I figured out when all the people other than Raven Shadow that are helpful are there. You have to go during the fucking day. Everybody. Nate was there. Everybody was
yeah.
fucking there. Right? Nate, who came
Everyone
up-
was fucking
yeah.
there. Jesus, what kind of place is this?
may or may not have come up to me and told me that I showed him like it wasn't Battle Royale. I showed him. Oh, I had him buy Watchmen when he was like 8 or 9 or something.
Yeah, he told me that story.
Yeah, good work, Maz. I'm not a good person. Still not fucking fetus, so I know that like
Yeah, you're still okay.
on
there.
the ledger scale of very disappointed to me to fucking is disgusted by me. I'm still not at the MZ level yet.
Evil Corny says, I thought Aries was opening the closet to change his sweater and shoes like Mr. Rogers.
It's getting bold.
That would be good.
Now you're-
I'm
clothes.
thinking
That's a
good
good
idea.
gimmick.
Might
Yeah,
have
that's a good gimmick, actually.
yeah,
Why, those are
leave,
new?
Leave some sneakers in the closet.
Changes
Some
his
slip-on slippers, maybe.
So, did you have anything about the Halloween extravaganza that you liked before we move on to the next thing?
Oh, Corny says I love that comic book store, Raven Shadow.
Thank you, buddy. Yeah.
Well, it's not your store.
Yeah.
Well, no, but I worked there, so
Yeah.
it's pretty much mine.
Yeah. I mean, you didn't build it.
And to be fair, he didn't come to the fucking toy vault and look at all my fucking Gen 1 Optimus Primes. either.
Well, that's fair. That's fair.
Did
Shopping there
MZ
for-
come yet?
I did.
No.
I showed up on when Wednesday, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday. I showed up.
No,
Yeah.
it wasn't Wednesday. 'Cause
Oh,
I worked.
it was Thursday. It was
I worked
Thursday.
Wednesday.
It was Thursday, and Dan Mead was there. You weren't there, and some
I
of the
know
guys
I worked
there,
Wednesday.
I guess he runs the joint or something.
Oh, it's probably my awesome district manager. He's a good guy.
But and a very impressive collection.
Yeah, not bad. I thought you'd like that. We
Yeah,
got some. We
yeah.
got some more recently too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
There's like
made
a.
me want to break open the glass.
You would have lost your
Case.
fucking mind though. I was at the warehouse the other day, and there was a Japanese Gen 1 still in the box.
Of
I don't know which one it was. I A, don't know Transformers. B, don't speak Japanese. Or read Japanese anyway. But yeah,
What type of vehicle? Oh, never mind.
I didn't see. It was a little far away from me without my glasses.
Yeah,
This
I'm,
guy
I'm
hit
sure
it.
you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. It had 4 wheels.
I know some cars.
Leanna says the New York Forbidden Planet is cool. She just got back from New York, so I'm guessing she went there. A lot of cool stuff's been happening there. They had, I think, Mike Gingold
Yep.
did his Ad Nauseum book signing there, and I think they had a Fangoria launch party. Speaking of which, I know we're all over the place tonight, but I finally got my issue of Fangoria.
hey,
Speaking of which,
yeah,
MZ, you want to talk about your appearance? in
yeah,
Fangoria?
sure, why not? Well, one of the
Articles.
one of the guys that's in Survival of the Film Freaks, director Jimmy Gonzalez, he brought over his copy of Fangoria issue number 1, and I got to take a look at it, and in it, and I went directly towards the write-up on Brian Pollan and his Morbid Vision Films company, written by S. Craig Zahler, which
Pretty
is
fucking cool.
which is very fucking cool, and you see it's a pretty good write-up, two-page spread, and yours truly is pictured in one of them, albeit in a complete pullover mask, but that is definitely me, where it looks like my face just had a massive explosion.
I think it was page 90 because I got mine and I flipped to it right away. That was the first thing I looked at. So I think it's page 90 or somewhere
Yeah, too
about
bad,
there.
Yeah, you could have brought that with you,
Well, I'm too busy reading it at home.
Well,
I
you
forgot
could
that
have
I
been
almost
reading
called
it.
Raven Shadow. I found one at TE and was gonna go back after my doctor's appointment, but it was fucking raining, so I just took a car to where I was going next.
Should have messaged me.
I didn't. It also, like, I forgot that it didn't cost the normal magazine price because it's certainly not a normal magazine. And also, when I initially went up, no exaggeration, no disrespect to, because like I said, everyone that I love that works there was there except for Kenny.
Yep.
And I walked up and like, how much is Fangoria? And everybody went, I don't know. And everybody flipped it around and looked for a price. And
Yeah. Well, it's hard to find.
It's not on there.
That's half the
Oh.
fun. Yeah, it's a treasure hunt.
Yeah.
You know what my
So-
favorite part about Fangoria is, real quick? Is that they did the coolest fucking thing that I think, comics do it sometimes, but they always fucking blow it. Volume 2, number 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then in that sidebar thing, it's got what would be the numeric number.
If
Like,
they had continued.
Continued.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. So
okay,
issue-
okay.
It's
Issue
like
number
328 or
1
something like that.
Well, they
Then it
do what
would've been
Marvel was doing that for a
3
while.
Whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought that was fucking
And
cool. I
That's
popped
cool.
for that.
By the way, we're in Fangoria because as a subscriber, I had the opportunity to send in like a little 140 character blurb. So I said, listen to the world's most dangerous talk radio show, Trick or Treat Radio, and then had the website.
Nice.
So we're in the back. It's just like the sort of like the misconnections or whatever they call the classifieds. There's like
Yeah,
a classifieds thing. So
They used to do that in the old
Yeah,
Fangos.
yeah.
In the real old Fangos, and then they stopped doing it for whatever reason. I don't know why, but
You should get a free one because you're the fucking king of the Fangoria message.
it's true.
of the old message boards, not of the new message boards.
I don't think there is a new message board.
It's Facebook.
Yeah,
Though I still call our group a message
Yeah.
message board sometime.
but anyway, on it says I'm trying to remember if it says something like Brian Pollan, and this is volume 1 of I don't know if it's volume 1 on S. Craig's or S. Should I call him S?
Oh, if he's gonna do like a
volume 2 on Brian
two,
Pollan, or
yeah.
if he's gonna do, or if he's gonna branch out.
What was
like
the last thing you talked about?
Olaf Ittenbach and stuff like that.
What was the last thing you talked about in the article?
For a
'Cause
2-page spread, it talked about
3 pages.
his. Oh, is it 3
Yeah,
pages?
yeah.
Oh shit, I must have missed it.
Because
They're probably why it says continued on the next page.
you ass. I love Brian like we're fucking related, but like he'll have to fucking get to work if he wants to have like a fucking article every single time.
Well, it's just that I saw the first part was about S. Craig Zahler's love of horror films and what he watched as far as
Yeah.
being younger goes in independent cinema and gore films and things like that. Then he went into Brian Pollan's, I guess you could say his startup, and then he started talking about Bone Sickness. And that was the last I knew of it. I didn't know there was a third page.
Because he mostly talks. It mostly covers fetus and bone sickness, right?
So, in mid fucking sentence,
Wait, those 2 movies, right? Fetus and bone sickness.
he doesn't know.
Yeah.
He stopped. He didn't finish. He's a whole page he didn't read.
Yeah.
How do you not know you're not done with an article?
Oh, what's hell of a cliffhanger. Oh, my Lord.
And he continued.
Yeah, it's like fucking Commander Cody up in here. What happens next month?
MZ was pissed off because the end was in Morse code. He's like, "What do these 3 dots mean?"
All right, I'm
So
gonna have to,
S-
I'm gonna have to take a look at that.
Yeah, you go.
I'm definitely gonna have to take
harder.
a look at that.
You, my friend, are the craziest asshole I've ever met my whole entire life, beyond a shadow of a doubt. How do you not know an article's done?
I thought the article was done.
I know you
ended.
thought.
It ended at the end of a sentence. It was the bottom of the page. I figured it was done.
Didn't it
I
say
thought it
con-
was a little abrupt,
Didn't
but I
it say
thought it was done.
continue?
No.
And then Brian said, oh, look. New article.
It's like, by the way, Mr. Zaller, the name of the film is Bone Sickness, not Bon.
Evil Corny says Raven Shadow was chauffeuring me around. Maybe I can go to your store next time, Mars.
Good.
So
There you
it
go.
was all Raven Shadow's fault.
It's like driving.
Oh,
to
corny.
This is the end of the article. I took a picture of it with the article. See? There's nothing here that indicates that it's continuing on to the next
Well, I
page.
can't. I'm not going to read it, but I suspect that there's probably not a complete thought.
Well, it probably has the same color as that. It's like a 3 or 4 page article.
Creepy Girl asks if Dynamo's spitting cookie crumbs on MZ.
He's spitting sprinkles all over the place. He's got these things all over the place.
The I don't know.
And
Well,
we have Genevieve's hanging out, and Genevieve
Nice.
says, "I died when Mars walked back into the podcast with his snacks."
Oh, that was the best.
We all died a little that moment.
That was the best.
That was
All right, so let's move on to Saturday, I guess.
that
and
was too funny.
We'll try to This will be like probably the longest day to talk about. So let's try to encapsulate it in as brief a time as we can. But so Saturday, yeah, the big thing was we did the live podcast, and I think leading up to that, we were just kind of hanging out at the booth and doing whatever. And so between 3 and 5, we did the live show, and we weren't quite sure what we're gonna do right up until right before we did it, but. We had our good friend Bill by Force from Outside the Cinema and a multi-award-winning director of Survival of the Film Freaks. And he basically hosted the panel and
told us to say that.
moderated it. And so for the first hour, he just basically asked us questions, went around, took the mic, and asked other people to ask us questions. And so it was good. We basically, kind of got to talk a little bit about like the community that we're a part of, the community that's sprung up sort of in our wake, I guess, if you will, and just sort of the camaraderie that we have with some of our, some new friends, like Carando got brought up, talking about Carando and our friendship with him. And, so we covered a bunch of things. And I think the one that probably brought the house down, though, was MZ talking about when he passed out on air.
Oh, my Lord.
So if anyone's seen the picture of me, Mars, and Aries
Shadow's feet.
with our hands on our face, and Raven Shadow like laying like horizontally in his chair.
He's waiting for the table to hump him.
Well, no, I was doing the impression.
No, he was pretending like
it was
you passing out.
idiot.
Yeah.
It's like when Doctor
Yeah.
Strange leaves his body to
Yeah.
become the astral
Yeah.
realm, and you're just like, you just fall back.
So I can't really you guys probably know the story if you've been listening to the show for any amount of time, but if you don't, I imagine we'll put that episode out. We did record audio from it.
Oh, good.
So I do have the audio. So I imagine at some point we'll do something with it. I'm not sure what yet. I don't know if it'll be a premium thing, if it'll be a Patreon if we get that up and running, or what we'll do with it. But we do have it, and I think it came out, from what I heard, came out pretty good. So
It felt good. Like,
yeah, and then the second half, we basically just brought our friends up, and like I said, we had Jasper Tales, we had Jasper and Michael Neal come up, and Jasper
was
had
fucking,
Jasper was
he was
on
a rock
point.
star.
Yeah.
He had probably the line of the night.
Yeah.
I basically said, well, last year Jasper was signing autographs at the Trick or Treat Radio booth, and he said, and this year I ate a lot of candy.
He
Spoken
also
like a
made
true rock star.
he also made the MZ the Miss Matrix hand sign one. He's like, so is there gonna be more Jasper Tales? No,
Yeah,
no
no.
more. No.
It was hilarious. And then Mars got really jealous because, was it Wiley that was eating popcorn in the crowd?
Yeah.
And then someone had a huge
Fucking
Mountain Dew.
Blinks, no drinks.
Oh,
Blinks
Blinks
had
was
a
just
drink.
he had drinks.
Yeah.
So Mars was just jealous, and then I would say about 3/4 of the way through, Mars just left the stage,
Yep.
came back. He had the biggest fucking smile on his face, and he was carrying a huge thing of popcorn and the biggest Mountain Dew you've ever seen.
It was
in your life.
literally, honestly, like it was It was like honestly, they gave me a small trash pail full of Mountain Dew.
It was
It
ridiculous.
was bigger
And
than a
small
movie
garbage
theater
bag of
soda.
popcorn.
It was bigger than like a fucking the awesome flower pot size drinks that I got at the Alamo.
And we did have Leatherface was in the crowd.
True,
A
he
very-
was-
He
very
kept threatening
mellow.
He
me.
was mad at you.
He was a very mellow.
He was mellow,
Leatherface,
but he kept threatening me.
It was not that you guys are gonna make a joke that it would happen anyway, but that was so much Mountain Dew that like 10 minutes after the panel, like I was just walking around with
Shot out
Mike
like a
Neal and my
laser
special
beam.
lady friend, and like again, this is for the benefit of like only people watching, but I was like,
For the benefit of those with flash photography. Mars pretended like he just got hit with a fucking dart.
Yeah.
He was walking and then just all of a sudden had to.
if
had
there
to
was a
pee.
line of any kind at the stall, it would have been done. Like it would have been done.
You would have been sitting in the urinal.
Why is my back all wet?
I would have shit on the place where like the kittens are or whatever. Like I needed to get into that bathroom. So no, it was great. It was great. I will give like I'm complimenting you, but I'm complimenting all of you,
Oh,
right?
boy.
But you're like I expected. I don't think that this show I think runs perfectly and evenly and everything else. I expected that I was going to have to do more. And I did. I wasn't even awake the whole time. Like, so,
You
like-
did
so,
pass
like,
out.
Like I felt like the show ran perfectly. I felt like everybody got over. Like I felt like it was exactly what you want from a live presentation
Yeah.
of multiple personalities.
Yeah, it ran a lot smoother than I ever expected.
And there were people there we didn't know, which was
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, we actually
Quite a
had
bit, I think.
a pretty good crowd. I would say it was about a third full, which
Yeah.
for a panel at Rock and Shock,
Yeah.
it's pretty good. And
Yeah.
we had went to the filmmakers panel Mars on
Yeah.
Sunday, and unfortunately, it was like no one there.
Yeah.
You know,
It was
Sunday, granted, is has less
tough time. Yeah.
people there, but still, like I was really really happy with it. We had a lot of people that we knew and a lot of people we didn't. So
Yeah.
How about the time when the Neil duo
Yeah.
came in, and all of a sudden here's Mars telling me,
No
all right,
shit.
now here's all right. There's kids in here now. No F-bombs. No F-bombs.
Yeah.
I couldn't
So
even believe
what?
it.
So what does Mars do? He starts talking.
Literally within a minute.
F this. F that.
Yeah.
F this.
I almost guarantee
That's why, because you
that I
said
didn't
it.
swear the whole rest of the time right up into that point.
Yeah, you probably didn't leading up to it or after.
No, you were swearing right up until it too.
Okay.
Oh, all right. But yeah, Jasper get in and we're like, all right, no swearing, and
Yeah.
Mars was the only one fucking swearing. It was pretty funny.
Because I'll quote someone who was in the audience. What planet is Mars on that he thinks he wasn't swearing the entire time?
Yeah, no, I don't know. I swear a lot anyway.
And in the chat room, Corny says that I witnessed Blinks drink my weight in Jack and Cokes on Saturday.
Oh yeah,
my
you don't
God.
even know. Man.
Oh man.
That was only when we saw him.
Yeah. He had. I saw at least like 8 of them.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, according to him, when he bought his first drink, he opened the bottle. And then when the guy emptied that bottle, he was like, wow, you've been the only one ordering these.
Yeah, he killed the fucking
That's
Coke
amazing.
and
Yeah.
and a Jack. The so going back to my sleep schedule the night before, I had that moment, right, where I was doing I don't remember what was going on. I was doing the panel with you guys, right? I think I put over Aries, right? And then all of a sudden I fucking snapped awake. And I was like, did I just fucking fall asleep in the middle of this fucking panel? And then I was looking around and no one said anything. So I'm like, if I did, no one noticed.
I'm smooth.
Yeah.
Except for there's a meme
Except
now.
for the
Yeah.
person. Except for the person who took a photo, which was Agent Nicole.
See, but I don't have that. I can't find that meme. But like,
I can send it to you.
yeah, please do. I thought it was hilarious.
Put it on for the folks in the live chat.
Yeah. Like, so what Aries might not have heard is that as we were leaving the Halloween extravaganza, the whole club's fucking empty. And all of a sudden I thought I was going to have to go into Monstante business because somebody shuffles over and Freezy, who drank too much, had like fallen asleep somewhere where they didn't know he was there. So he was still in the club after they closed it. And I said, how are you going to get home? Did you drive here? No. How are you going to get home? When they come, how they come get me and you give them money?
What?
And I'm like, where are you going? I'm like, no. Your parents had to deal with fucking drunk 16-year-old you and drunk 18-year-old you. You know, I need to be responsible for drunk 30-something-year-old you. So he went, he wanted to watch the movies, and then he fell asleep, and I stayed up pretty much overnight. Like, but like, I felt like until that point I had my composure, right? You guys didn't know that I was running on empty, right? Like, I mean, I hope I didn't look as bad as
Running on empty.
like I didn't feel bad.
Yeah, right,
That was the
right.
weird thing. Like I didn't feel like I was gonna fall asleep in any second. So that was even more surprising. So
I
I don't
sent
know.
you the
if
photo of Mars.
Thank you. I don't know if I looked that way, you know, but I was like literally it's one of those things where I was like, did I just fall asleep in the middle of this panel? And how long had I been asleep for? And did I snore?
Oh, yeah, you were snoring like a motherfucker.
No, come on.
Right into the mic.
I don't even
One other thing I want to bring. So that was pretty much the live show. We'll eventually release it somehow, and you guys will be able
Yeah.
to listen to it. We did also catch some video. I got about 45 to 50 minutes of video before my phone was starting to run low on battery. But I do have some video of it, and when I have time, I haven't had any time, I'm going to put together a little sort of, video highlight reel that we'll put out. And so I don't know when that's going to happen, but eventually. Hopefully before Halloween. Maybe that'll be our Halloween present. Was sort of a little thing.
Then
So-
Saturday night we went out to eat.
Yeah, Raven Chow did not get the table.
No.
Listen,
No, that's because there was so much arguments about where we were going to eat.
I don't think
It was so ridiculous.
I
Just
feel-
pick a
I-
fucking place.
but I feel
My
it was already
God.
picked though.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it wasn't even the restaurant. It was a matter of the fact that all fucking day long, everyone came up to me and was like, "I don't want this to happen. I don't want this to happen."
They don't want
Then
what
it
to
f-
happen.
Then it fucking happened.
Everyone wanted to go to, by the end of the night, when we were talking about it, everyone wanted to go to Uno's.
At that point, I didn't care where we went, just as long as we went someplace. But it wasn't until like the final second that, up until that final second, we were arguing where are we gonna eat? Just pick a fucking place.
Yeah,
And the
but it
and the
still fucking
99 has
sucks.
like aside from salad, which
But doesn't it work for
it has
Wolf?
like one option for me,
Wow.
like a veggie burger.
It has Gold Fever wings. That's when I start like.
That doesn't work for
That's when I
me.
start
And,
fucking
well-
throwing people off the boat like that goat. Like
So we went to Uno's, and I ordered the thing that's
Oh
farthest
yeah.
away from
I
a
almost-
veggie burger.
I almost forgot about this. Yeah.
This is my favorite. I am so glad I didn't stay at the main
So
for
we
this one thing.
so we were split up into like 2 or 3 tables because there's way too many of us, and
Yeah, there was like
And peop-
22
people-
of us.
I didn't even know some of the people that came with us.
Yeah, well, fucking, that was the fucking problem,
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't even know who some of the people were. But anyways, so we all get there, and then there was like a smaller satellite table. It was me, MZ, Jimmy Gonzalez, and who else was there?
Bill by Force.
Bill by Force and,
and
Derek Rook.
Derek Rook.
Yep.
Hey, well, thanks.
And then Mars ended up coming to join us
And
as
the
well
other
when
one.
he got there. No, he wasn't there at the beginning. So we're all there, and we had a little bit more leg room, and we were spread out a little bit. And
I mean, that was a nice place to. I was happy with who I sat with,
yeah,
but it would have been nice to sit with Gorney.
no, I agree. I agree. It would have been nice to sit with everyone. So, anyways, we're there. We're looking at what to order, and then I was looking at the veggie burger, and I saw there was a thing called the whole hog,
Jesus Christ.
and it's a two patty burger with like 4 or 5 different types of meat. It's like ridiculous. And I was like, MZ, you getting this? Or something like that. He's like, yeah, I'll get it.
I'll get
It was
fucking
like
2 of them.
it didn't even take like any like bit of convincing. He's like, yeah, I'll get it, and it was 3,760 calories. Was that it?
Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah.
Lord.
Is that a
Yeah.
lot?
It was basically.
That's a lot. Yeah,
it-
that's like 3 times like
Yeah. It's
like
basically a cow tipper
cow tipper. I've never heard of that.
from Clerks 2.
Oh, okay.
Ours is trying to take a picture. You're the worst at taking pictures.
I feel
Let
like
Raven Shadow take the picture.
I feel like the other day when Raven Shadow couldn't stay in the frame himself.
So
So anyway, what it is, the whole hog, and what it is that it's 2, I would guess, half-pound patties. 2 half-pound patties.
special sauce, lettuce, cheese.
With
Bacon.
bacon,
Oh,
with
really? I'm making it
bacon,
up.
Yeah,
with
bacon,
pepperoni,
salami,
salami,
and like one
and
other.
like another kind of pork product that's in with
It
the
was,
hamburger.
pork.
Yeah, pork. And then you slap
Almost
on
the
your
stadium burger.
and I think there was like chipotle mayo that's on it as well, or some kind of special mayonnaise that's on it. With lettuce, tomato. Of course, the tomato's like a 1/4 inch thick, and so are the red onions. But I was able to pound that down no problem. Along with,
you get 2 sides,
I got 2 sides, which
and you get an appetizer.
Jesus.
the appetizer was the mozzarella sticks.
And what were your sides?
Squash.
My sides were my side. It
French
was
fries
French fries, yeah,
and
and broccoli, because I wanted to watch my weight.
yeah, of course. You had 3,700 calories. Might as well
I
get some
must have-
fucking broccoli.
I had to have pounded down about 5,000 calories in that one.
It
sitting.
was insane,
And it
and
was
I did get video of
delicious.
that.
And it was delicious.
First time Mike says, "Hey, Monster Zero, did you end up picking up that Grim Reaper poster with George Eastman on it?"
Grim Reaper, that's mine.
Yeah.
Did I end up selling it? No.
Slaygoth wants to know, Raven Shadow, where's the best pizza joint up there?
Everywhere.
Uno's.
Who knows?
Corny says, he says,
Corny hated Uno's too.
yeah, he says, I swear to Cthulhu, if I go next year, there's no way I'm setting foot in Uno's.
Me too.
Had a bad time.
I think your toilet had a bad time.
Well, it all worked out.
And you know what the scary thing about me eating all that food was? Is that the
He
following
still
day?
hasn't pooped yet.
No.
It's
That
been
was- that's
clogged
exactly
up for
right.
4
That's
days.
He'll
exactly
never
right.
fucking poop
No,
again.
no. Are you serious?
That whole day Sunday, never went to the bathroom.
God, you didn't go Saturday either?
I didn't go
When did you go?
No. I mean, I went Saturday, but I'm talking about when
Post-meal.
post burger, post whole hog. The post hog. I from that point on till Monday morning, I took 3 massive shits. And
Aries is blushing.
and this was like before 7 o'clock in the morning.
You
So-
took 3?
He took 3 shits before 7 a.m.
Honey, I'm getting up.
Did you get out of bed?
Did you get out of bed?
Did you just do like Andre the Giant, like shit on a sheet and roll it into a fucking bindle and throw it out the window?
Yeah, clean this.
Leanna says, "Oh God, that sounds like a nightmare. I hope you didn't fart."
That dude shit 3 times and you're worried about farts?
Because it's like I'm wondering when the hell is it going to leave my body? I don't.
That's like saying he burned down a city block and you hope he didn't smoke.
Corey says you got a tapeworm.
Not anymore.
And first time Mike had told his mom, he told first time mom that you were doing that,
Yeah.
and he says my mom was amazed you would eat all that, MZ.
You know, it's not as big as it seems, but it was very, very filling. I expected it to be a little bit bigger than what it
You
was.
had no problem with it.
Yeah, I pounded that down, no sweat. Everything was gone.
I know.
think
You
they
ate
were
all
like
the
maybe-
broccoli too.
Yeah, I think there were like maybe 3 or 4 small little, sliver French fries left, and that was it. And the red onions, because I'm not a big fan of red onions, but
So that was fun. It was fun. It was a good group of folks that we were with. It would have been nice if we had everyone together, but we also had Brandon from Vinegar Syndrome. That's who else was there with us.
Those are cool
yes.
fucking dudes.
Yeah.
I think we've hung out with over the last few years just about that. whole
Brandon and
company.
James.
Yes.
Yeah.
At least, but yeah, Brandon hung out with us, and he's a really fucking awesome dude.
James made an amazing entrance on Sunday. He swung by
Yeah.
and knocked a bunch of shit over on So I Love Film Freak's table, then walked away and gave the finger over. That's all I
Fuck you.
said.
Speaking of Vinegar Syndrome, MZ, what did you get from them?
Oh, Jesus, dude. What I gave away and what I got. Because I traded off, or sold rather, some of the last of my laser discs.
Yep.
So, I was able to get a C note off of them, plus 3 movies. So,
You're supposed to talk about what you sell stuff for?
huh?
You're supposed to talk about what you sell stuff for?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. Who
Especially to a
cares?
retail chain, because then you're exposing what their markup is.
Oh, shit.
It's like
well, I
walking
didn't wanna
around.
do that.
It's like walking around and
Can we
when
edit this?
It's like when you get to the Madison Square Garden saying
No one knows what a C note is,
yeah,
anyways.
saying
I'm a little confused. But that was like $5.
saying
How
this
much is that?
person's going over, this person's gonna win, this person's gonna win.
Well, you didn't say what it was, so
Well, anyway, so I got what did I get? I got the Arrow release of Eaten Alive, the Arrow release of what else? I'm trying to remember now.
you got Dario Argento.
Oh yeah, I got Tenebrae on Blu-ray. I got Blood Harvest. Had to have Blood Harvest with.
You
Stars
fucking
Tiny
love
Tim.
that thing.
I do. Did you have you watched it, yet, Mars?
I've seen it 100 times.
No, I mean, have you seen the Blu-ray?
No, I mean I bought it.
Yeah, I know you did, but you haven't watched it
No,
yet.
I won't. A lot of my Vinegar, to be honest, some of my Vinegar Syndrome stuff, like the like slipcase stuff,
Mhm.
I haven't even opened any of my stuff from last year, like,
Wow.
because I collect physical media, like, so like I don't want to. When my special lady friend doesn't get it either, so like sometimes like I'll come home and they'll be like I will watch something, and like my battle royal will just be like fucking out on the coffee table or whatever, you know what I mean? So like I prefer to like watch them in other places I can watch them and then not touch my physical copy.
So yeah,
So
MZ
I-
got a pretty good haul.
Yeah, so I also got the Arrow release of The Hills Have Eyes.
That's right. Yeah.
And I also got Raw Force.
Yeah.
It's the shit right there.
Yeah. Oh, god damn, that's a great movie.
I'm disappointed I didn't buy the Incubus. I really enjoy that film, but I just had watched it the other day, like, and I was
Their packaging. I was talking to him about it. It's amazing.
Yep.
But that's the original poster, I guess.
the
Which
Incubus poster.
yeah,
Yeah,
which
yeah. That was
blew
the-
my mind. It's amazing.
I got I also got Blood Harvest because everyone knows I am like, I mean, if you were looking for a gift for me and didn't know I had that, like, what's more perfect than a fucking something that has Tiny Tim, because everybody knows I love fucking Tiny Tim.
You love fucking Tiny Tim.
I do.
Tim was awesome.
Yeah, don't tell Aries I love fucking Big Tim too.
Ooh.
Call me the God of War. Call me the God.
Wow.
But,
Wowzers, worship me.
Jesus.
Call me Tim. Call me.
But Like I was excited, you know, and I love slashers too, so I was excited to have that. And that's a real fun one.
And that movie has everything, man.
yeah,
Such a good. Have you guys seen?
No,
Blood
no,
Harvest?
no.
it's
No?
great.
No.
It's really. I don't want to say unintentionally creepy, but the stuff that is creepy, like I feel like, isn't necessarily the stuff that they meant to be creepy.
Is
No, I
Tiny
know
Tim
what
really
you
in
mean.
it?
You know, he's in it.
Shit,
all
that's
in
him
it.
on the fucking
yeah,
cover.
He's the what is it, Marvelous Malbert.
Really?
Mervo.
Mervo, right.
Mervo.
Did
I
you
also-
see them carrying around the Blood Harvest Blu-ray? They kept showing it.
Oh yeah.
I also got the awesome house on Tombstone Hill, so
Nice.
I'm excited. Like I kind of been kind of eyeing that. Well, what's funny is that I didn't know what it was, and then I had like the another like I was like, what is this? And then I flipped it around. I was like,
Right here, Raven
oh.
Shadow.
Oh yeah.
That's Tiny Tim.
He was holding that all weekend.
Yeah, it's Tiny Tim.
Well, that
That's
artwork
fucking-
is fucking out.
Yeah.
It's so weird. It
It's
wasn't.
I watched it. It was the first thing I watched when I got home.
How's the print?
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I've never ever in my whole entire time seen a good print. Of
And
that.
there's a segment in it. One of the extra features involves Tiny Tim. Involves Tiny Tim talking about, you know, his involvement in Blood Harvest, and he's pounding down as he's doing the interview. He's pounding down a 2-liter bottle of Sprite or 7-Up. Oh, it's funny as hell, but he was truly an original, man. I mean, I met him back in October 1994 when he was at Spooky
Mars,
World.
stop having conversations with
I stopped.
with lovelies on a thing that I get notifications about.
didn't
I don't
do
want
it.
you talking.
I didn't do it on purpose.
What's going on? All right.
By the laughter, I think he's sending
doing?
dick pics.
Swing
Dick
chop
pics.
cut.
It's a good thing it wasn't a dick
Yeah.
pic.
I just
Jesus.
sent Aries a dick pic.
Nice.
I didn't see it. Wow. How was that?
How about that?
Oh man, this fucking picture is the best thing ever, though. It's not good fidelity, but I would love to have a fucking T-shirt of this.
Okay, let's all fiddle on our phones while we're live on the air.
So anyway, it's like as soon as they put out the Blood Harvest Blu-ray, it's like flies or moths to a flame.
Oh, yeah.
It was ridiculous. Everybody just surrounded their table picking this shit up.
Yeah, I took one like they were putting them in the sleeves, and I like walked away.
Yeah, they were still putting them in sleeves when we got them, and hot off the presses, man. And if you want, you know, a really unusual slasher film, that's only unusual because Tiny Tim is in it. Because otherwise, it's rather standard fare. But even the standard fare, it's like Mars says, it has a creepy vibe.
It's
to
got
it
a
that's very
weird-
unintentional.
It's got a weird proto torture porn element to it too, almost that you don't like you know what I mean? Like
yeah, I
it's
suppose.
yeah, like it's you don't see the actual. I guess the collection reminded me of it. You know what I mean? Like I guess in some Friday the 13th, one of the Friday the 13th films, he was hauling his dead bodies into one place, but I don't remember which one. Maybe 3, but shit, I can't remember which one. But like the fact that they, you know, like there's something about it, like that you know, like when he like chained her up and was fucking harassing her and stuff. Like that felt fresh to
Yeah.
me within the, you know, confines of a. When is that? That was also, you know what's funny about Blood Harvest? I don't know how it looks with this transfer, but when that movie looks like it's from and when that movie's from is like there's a big disparity between that because it looks like it's from about 1979.
I know exactly what you mean.
Like
It's
1980.
because of the film stock used, and
Yeah.
also the fact the film was shot out in rural Wisconsin.
Isn't it 1988?
Oh, it's
87.
it's first time Mike's neck of the woods.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 1987. Yeah, so yeah.
Yes, it was shot out in the boonies of Wisconsin, and that just feels like it's in the middle of nowhere, you know. So it
It's
just
just so fucking weird though. Like
it just gives off an even creepier vibe because of that. you
Like
know?
I feel like you think you know how weird it's gonna be when I tell you that Tiny Tim is in a slasher movie, but it's like the weird part isn't, spoiler alert from a movie from 1987, Tiny Tim's the slasher. The weird part is that he's fucking weird Tiny Tim in clown makeup with boundary issues.
Yeah, yeah.
Like he just shows up, like the girl will be out of the shower and he'll be in her house like, oh hello. It's just like,
And you're really trying to you can't figure out why it's creepy?
no. But like, there's some stuff that you can tell with the way they film it that it's supposed to be creepy. But like, then there are just weird insert shots where Tiny Tim is like in his house alone in full clown makeup, fucking
singing to himself
Yeah.
and
Tiptoe
Just by the simple
through
fact that
tulips.
Tiny Tim is in the shot
Yeah.
makes it creepy.
No, Tiny Tim is the fucking best.
Tiny Tim in clown makeup.
Yeah.
That which is even
Yeah.
creepier than
That's creepy.
regular
times
Tiny
10.
Tim.
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
I love Tiny Tim. Tiny Tim's
Yeah.
version of People Are Strange is the real version of People Are Strange.
Yes.
And I bet it's creepy as hell.
It's not. It's fucking awesome.
And Tiny Tim sings the theme song
He does.
to Blood Harvest.
Tiny
He-
Tim's
and
version of
creepy as hell.
Tiny Tim's version of "Don't You Think I'm Sexy" is amazing. I have a good live version
Um,
where he just fucks up
Wait,
and
wait,
starts like,
wait,
saying words.
wait for it.
What?
Creepy as hell.
It's not creepy.
So we got to wrap this up. We're running a little
I
long.
gotta pee
so
too. So
first time Mike says Raw Force is a movie I will go to war for, and Blood Harvest is very weird. I may have to revisit it.
Vinegar Syndrome is really like. I remember around Raw Force saying like, all right, because I got a bunch of stuff. Like Vinegar Syndrome has his niche, but they put out all those like fucking first like like the touchstones of the blaxploitation era, like over the past couple of years. They put out Blood Harvest. What was another one? They put out. What did they just put out? We were talking about the poster art.
Incubus.
That's one that I would have thought that would be like a Scream Factory or Severin one,
Yeah.
like so.
Death by Temptation.
Oh yeah, that was a
Put
good
out
one.
Death
Yeah.
by Temptation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy shit! I didn't
Yeah.
even see that.
Yeah.
And they put. I also. Oh no! What else I bought that I was excited about? I bought volume 3 of the 5 films for 5 years. The second of the horror one. I had originally grabbed the sex comedy one by accident because it had a kung fu movie that I was like, oh no, this is a sex comedy one. Now I regret not walking away with that, so I'm gonna get that. I think.
All right. Well, is there anything that happened on Sunday that we really want to talk about? I mean, I guess we sort of said our goodbyes. And
Yeah. We went our separate ways. Although
yeah.
although I can't help not bring up we were all packed up, ready to leave, and we're walking to our cars. It's Wolfie, myself, Raven Shadow, and our friend Serrana.
D-Rook.
And D-Rook.
Yep.
Yes, you're right. And Raven Shadow is carrying a bag that belongs in Johnny's car.
Yeah.
So Johnny's at his car. He's got his doors open. He's packing some stuff up. He says to Raven Shadow, he goes, "Okay,
I'm
I'll
ready.
take the
I'm ready
bag."
for that bag. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready for that bag. And Raven Shadow, who is about maybe 6 feet away from Johnny, just puts it down right by
On
his
the
goddamn
sidewalk.
feet, and doesn't even bother to even just give it to Johnny. He just puts it down by his feet.
I thought he was going to come over and open up his trunk and
Why
bring it
couldn't
Yeah. Why
Because
can't you just
why
fucking
do
bring
you
it to
always think the wrong thing?
in. Well, because I thought it's maybe some technical components in there, and maybe he wants to put it away in a certain spot.
What
Yeah,
part
you
of I'm ready
would've-
for that bag did you not understand?
I thought he was going to do a routine. I thought he was going to he's
Dude.
ready. He's going to get in gear up and maybe do like a.
that wouldn't be ready.
Dude, if
Do
he
some
if that was
calisthenics.
really the case, do you really think he'd trust you with it to begin with?
I don't know. Maybe he thought I got.
So that's a very fair point.
well,
Nothing fragile was in that bag. If you were carrying it,
Well.
you could have thrown it at him. He probably would have been fine with it.
Well, I didn't
Yeah.
know. I misread the signals.
What signals? He just said,
It's verbal
"I'll take the
communication.
bag," and you put it down right by your own feet.
Yeah, well, you can come get it. We call it a routine.
It was at
Work
that
your,
moment.
Work your heels.
It was at that moment I realized, this is no longer an act. You're the you're about as
Maybe a
authentic,
genuine
as it gets.
article.
I am the real fucking deal.
You are about as
Real
authentic-
deal meals. 9 real deal meals? Is that
Yeah,
what it was?
nine sized entrees for like $9.
You didn't even come to us to fucking 99.
No.
You
I
were
was-
raving about it all weekend.
I was, but I was,
You didn't even
I
join
was
us.
exhausted.
Jesus.
I had.
Well, you know what I did? I
Another
went out to
agenda.
eat, and then I went out to Uno's, and we had a drink. It was me, Mars, Rook, and Wiley. The four of us just hung out, sat at a table, and then I went to go to a fucking concert. I went to go see Trivium.
Yeah, you're so full of fucking energy, Johnny. You're so.
I went to the concert, and then I walked back, and I hung out with D. Rook and Wiley for a little bit longer, and then I went home. I went to bed at like 3 a.m.
After the show?
After the show.
Oh, were they still at the bar?
No, they're at Wiley's. Because she was staying in the hotel in the
Okay.
in that.
You know, I will take this opportunity to say like that, like Wiley and I have the craziest relationship. We'll be like,
Whoa!
we'll be we'll be like the best of friends, like brother and sister 1 minute, and we'll be like
Best of times. It was the blurst of times.
and then we'll be in the fucking knife fight from the Beat It video the next minute. But like I don't know, like I wish she lived closer because like I feel just such a great.
Well, she does
camaraderie.
live closer now.
Yeah, but still, I'm not going to Hoth. She has such.
It is colder here, you know.
Such great. No, not where I am. Get a scarf. You'll be warm all the time, baby. Just great camaraderie with her, and like I spent more time than I usually get to this weekend. It was great. I really, really appreciate. I know she doesn't listen to this show. But,
Yes, I don't know why you're buttering her up.
well, I don't think it's buttering up. But
Sounds like it.
I don't know. Can only do
Well,
so
Goro
much
might be
buttering up at
listening.
one time. Yeah.
No, it was a great weekend though. So we got to wind this down because we have a lot more to
Yeah.
get to. So, was there any other memories or anything that you guys really wanted to talk about? Aries, did you have fun being there all weekend?
Well, I missed Sunday.
We noticed.
Yeah, I got broadsided.
Whoa.
Haven't heard that in a while.
Yeah. Hoo-ha.
But yeah, no, I did. Yeah, I enjoyed. I wish I was there on Sunday.
Is this yours?
What is that?
There's a cord that was left at the booth that
That
no
was
one
not
knows
mine. I don't think
whose
that
it
would
is.
work on my phone.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll take it 'cause it will work on my
we're selling
charger.
a cord.
Yeah.
Wait, yeah.
A Honda Accord.
Did anyone mention that Raven Shadow missed the booth on Saturday? Like walked right by it?
No,
Oh
sir.
no.
No, I was just walking
You
by.
did,
and
you
looking
did.
around. Well,
What do you
what,
mean
you
you walked
forgot-
by the booth?
He forgot where it was.
well, I don't know. There's a lot of people around.
What the fuck was that?
Corny had to
Man.
call him back. Corny found the booth, no problem.
Well,
Man, you need to be medicated.
No, I
was-
think
I
that's the
was-
problem. I think he is.
No, I wasn't even medicated enough. I only had 5 beers over the weekend
Yeah, Leanna
That's
says
true.
at Rock and Shop.
they were like this big.
At Rock and Shop.
Because at
They were
one
this
point,
big.
at
These
one
22
point,
ounce job.
Raven Shadow grabbed me, and I don't recall what
I
he
only
said.
had 5 kegs.
But it was only 2 or 3 words long. What he said to me, but there was 11 or 12 S's in it.
Yeah, Leanna just said, "What the fuck did Raven Shadow say?"
No,
We're still trying to figure that out.
no, I only had 1 can at Rock and Shock on Friday.
No.
Yeah,
Bullshit.
at Rock and Shock.
Bullshit.
No, Rock and Shock.
Bullshit.
Maybe on Friday
On Friday.
because he
yeah.
didn't get there.
Friday.
He didn't get there till like 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Friday.
No,
yeah.
Friday he did have
I had 2 cans on
Saturday,
2 cans.
Saturday.
3 cans.
2
no,
cans, Sam.
No, I had 2 beers and I got a drink with Bobby Chains. And only had 1
You
beer.
did go
on-
to Moyni's.
You fucking asshole.
We told you
promised
not
never
to.
I
go
didn't go to Moyni's.
Yeah,
you
What's the
did.
matter with you?
Yeah, you
No, I
did.
didn't. Bobby Chains went. I went to go find him.
Yeah.
I said, Bobby Chains, come back. Well, one time with him, I was there and I was right back. It was very. I didn't go there.
That's what you
normally-
say every time, and you're gone for like 3-4 hours.
No, but this time I mean it though. I was
Well-
only there once.
But how can you say you weren't there when you were there?
One time though.
So multiple times constitutes a visit.
No. In years past, but this year I was only there once.
I like how Raven Shadow
Yeah, you know,
like
things
has now
change over
officially
time.
started rounding up and down his
Yeah.
appearances. He's like, I was only there once.
I'd have
so
to be there 10 times to count.
I was
it.
only there once, so nah. I wasn't
No,
I don't believe.
no, I was there probably 3
God.
times.
My life is awful. If you're watching for the
Cor-
first time, my
Corny
life
says
is terrible.
500 beers.
Really, Corny?
He
No.
says endless beers in the Cove on Friday.
Yeah, I felt like
oh,
there was a
yeah.
lot.
Oh.
No, I mean,
What did you nurse that one fucking beer because you had a giant
You didn't nurse anything.
can in you?
Yeah.
because Freezy kept pulling me on the dance floor, spilling everywhere.
Oh, so I better get another one.
Corny says it was nice to meet Wiley, even though she don't call me Evil Corny.
She don't.
She did.
And then he said he missed the hell out of it when referring to you missing the booth, walking right by it.
I
Well-
wish I could have saw that.
There was a lot
And
of people.
Oh no,
There's
it's
a lot of
Sunday.
people.
Corny found it just fine.
Sunday I got there early.
I had no idea you missed the booth. I figured you just walked right by because you were just looking around.
That's what I was doing. I'm like, hey, there's a weird thing over here.
Hey, look, the beer's over there.
I was very good. I was very, very good this year.
Glad you think so.
I was.
You're applauding yourself.
Such a good boy.
I was a very,
such a
very,
good boy.
very
Yeah.
good boy.
I was very
Congratulations.
good. I was very well behaved.
What do you want? What do you want?
Just a recognition.
A beer. I'll have a beer.
Okay, because I was going to give you a beer, but I'll give you recognition.
No. I was really good. I was better last year, but I was really good this
Do
year.
you want us to scratch behind your ear?
Not my ear.
Well, not according to this guy. You left him high and dry at the merch booth all weekend.
That wasn't. We didn't discuss that.
Nobody discussed anything with me. I was all by myself.
What
the
happened to
entire
Aries?
night.
All right,
I had
all right.
Okay.
Moving on.
We're gonna end this shit. We've like almost 90 minutes. All right.
Q
Well,
Buster.
there's a lot to talk about, Johnny.
I know. I wanted to make sure we talked about it. It was
the
a great.
granddaddy of them all, the greatest rock and shock
It was
weekend ever.
it was a great
Until
weekend.
next year.
Make plans for
That's a
next
joke.
year, October 11th, 12th, and 13th.
Next year's going to be amazing.
Yes, be even more people. It sounds like, anyways, there's going to be multiple people flying in already. They
Yeah.
want to, so
Yeah. Already, we got more
save your
guests
sh-
than the con itself.
save your shekels.
Well, not for nothing, but Rock and Shock, fucking hit us up. You do treat us good, but like nobody fucking came from Alabama to see Bill Mosley or like any,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like so, like
That's right.
We don't
LA,
need-
right? Isn't that where?
yeah, good point.
Ohio.
Ohio, just saying.
Ohio, you're
We don't
on the
want
air.
anything but we just just know if you're out there listening.
Well, they treat us good.
They do.
They do.
Mike is
Michael
a
Welch
prince
treated us really,
amongst-
treated us really good.
Welch is
Took
my
care-
boy.
He
Yeah,
took
he's-
care of us.
He's an awesome dude. There's no
He's a
question
king,
about
a
it.
king among princes. He's a real good guy.
All right, so let's wind this down and let's head to a commercial break in just a moment. If you guys want to help support the show, trickortreatradio.com. There's a store. Click on it. There's some greatest hits, volumes 1 through 3. There's some digital content. There's only a few T-shirts. If you guys want T-shirts, they're running out of quantities. So get on that if you want them.
And the company, not that it would be hard, but the company I got the election ones from closed. So,
Oh, it's like one person, right?
well, I don't know. I only talked to one person. Like,
Well, we can get. I have some thoughts about T-shirts for next time. But all right, and if you guys do want to donate, like Matchel of Omaha, you can do so. There's a donate button right on the front page of trickortreatradio.com, and also we have the Amazon link. Scroll down, find the logo, click on it, bring you right to Amazon, put on our affiliate link, and doesn't cost you any extra to use it. But Raven Shadow,
It helps keep the lights on.
so every little bit helps, and we could use the lights being on. And we need a new computer soon. So so it'd be a big
I think
help.
the computer is more important than the lights.
Yes.
We
And
all look
more
better in the
important,
dark.
actually,
That's
they're more
fair.
important than your cigarettes, Raven Shadow. So maybe you should fund the computer.
I think, yeah, you quit smoking, give all that money towards the
Well,
computer.
you Bruce Wayne now. Why don't you fucking, where's your fucking
Aries has said he
Camaro?
would give money for the computer fund.
Good,
He's
let's-
the only
I
person.
I gave a lot of money towards Rock and Shock this weekend.
He
How much
did.
you give?
What?
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 Let me
the building fund.
No, let me call out Aries. He messaged me. It was like if you need anything, let me know. Aries got like zip ties, fucking batteries, candy, a power strip. He made a fucking sign. Did you make a sign, Raven Shadow?
I brought Evil Corny. Okay. On 3 different days.
He's not wrong.
He slept at your house.
Yeah.
All you had to do was make sure he got into the car with you.
Well, to be fair, if you listen to the first half of the show, that wasn't an easy thing to do.
Yeah. We're realizing. I'm
but-
sure he was in the car and like waving you back towards it as you're wandering down the road.
Yeah, no, I don't know what
Raven
happened.
Shadow,
But
it's your car, right? This one here?
I don't know. I said, Corny, buy a car.
I don't know.
I don't know what happened. But I think what Aries is trying to say is that we both contributed to the event.
Some more than others. Some more than others. All right, Raven Shadow, you sit
Wow.
down.
What a reaction.
You sit down. You pop open Netflix. You're gonna watch Apostle.
That's right.
What a reaction.
What do you do to prepare for Apostle?
Oh man, I'm so tired for all my contributing.
I really wish that was like on mic. Like that was.
The real one or the fake one?
No, it's fucking strap on, dude.
Do you love a scary story? Do you love to dance? The Big Scary Monster Haunts at Midnight is a collection of dark songs about sex, love, death, Insights.
I'm Alex West,
And I'm Andrea Subasati, and we're from the Faculty of Horror podcast.
and you're listening to Trick or Treat Radio.
I'm Ruby Burble.
What's up, y'all? It's me, the Yeti. Telling all the ladies that they couldn't be more fine and that we should knock those boots like Frankenstein. When I want to get my nerd on, I go to Facebook and I go to the Trick or Treat Radio Facebook group. That's the place where I get to talk about all the hip new horror movies, all the cool comics,
Like comics.
RPGs, video games, you name it, we're talking about shit on there. And you could not be any cooler if you were the coolest kid in school. Be the first kid on your block to swing their cock over at the Trick or Treat Radio Facebook group. Just go to Facebook, search for Trick or Treat Radio, ask to join, and it's like Nerd Nirvana, baby, without the shotgun blast. This is the Yeti, signing out. See you at the Trick or Treat Radio Facebook group.
Follow us on Twitter at The Deadites, TheDeadites.com, and TrickOrTreatRadio.com.
I'm Mike Allred. For the gidgiest listening experience, you gotta check out Trick or Treat Radio.
All right, we're back at Trick or Treat Radio. All right, we are going to talk about a movie.
Hey, all right. What movie?
Oh, that's a good question, MZ. We're going to talk about Apostle. So let me pull it up here on IMDb. It's not The Apostle, or not The Prostate, as MZ thought, but Apostle from 2018. This Netflix exclusive is rated TVMA. It is 2 hours and 10 minutes. It is a fantasy horror mystery. If you guys want to get into subgenres, I guess you could call this a folk horror in some way. And it is written and directed by Gareth Evans. Gareth Evans.
What Aries is, I think what Aries is trying to say is we both contributed at Rock.
And it stars Dan Stevens, Richard Elfin, Paul Higgins, Bill Milner, John Weldon, Ross O'Hennessy, Gareth Pierce, Reese Meredith. Where is that other dude? That's weird.
Christine Frosset,
Oh, there-
Mark Lewis.
Yeah, I'm looking for the prophet, Michael Sheen. That's it.
Yes.
And Sharon Morgan. And the synopsis. In 1905, a drifter on a dangerous mission to rescue his kidnapped sister tangles with a sinister religious cult on an isolated island. So, as we talked about, this is from Gareth Evans, who had directed The Raid and The Raid 2. Two of probably the greatest action movies in the last couple decades. Would you say that's fair, Mars? Maybe ever in your estimation?
Yeah, I think that they're both. I think they're both pretty perfect in their own special way.
Their own special way. And
So are you, Mars.
and also Gareth Evans has sort of covered. Well, I wouldn't say covered this ground, but he sort of dipped his toes in movies with cults when he did Safe Haven,
Sure.
which is one of the shorts on VHS2, by far the best one on there.
There's also that other kind of horror movie that he made that I didn't see called Footsteps,
Yeah, he did Footsteps and Morantu.
which sort of I own Morantu. It's sort of Footsteps plot wise, sort of seems like that, almost like until I read a little more about it. Like the elevator pitch sounds like Killers, the Moe Brothers movie may
Yep.
have been a remake of it, but
Interesting. So this is really since the Raid 2 in 2014. This is his. He did a short in between, but this is his next film. So it's been 4 years since his last feature, which is far too long for him, I think. And he's also, this is just rumored, but I guess since we talk about comic-y stuff occasionally on the show, he's also rumored to direct the Deathstroke movie.
no fucking shit.
Yep.
I feel like that's not who we heard was gonna get excited though.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I've heard a lot of rumors for Deathstroke, and who knows if it's even going to happen, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, this early on, I mean, you hear directors come and go.
Yep. And, I mean, Joe Manganiello, is that how you say his name? He's the one who played him in Justice League. I imagine that he would probably play him in the movie if that happens.
Who knows? They already seem like they're having some pretty major
Shakeups, yeah,
already.
definitely. For sure. So, I mean, who knows? It's just rumored at this point, and we won't go any further than that. So this flick here stars Dan Stevens, who was in The Guest, which we reviewed a couple years ago, which we really enjoyed.
I love The Guest.
And Corny, your guest.
He's a great guest.
And he also played the Beast in the live-action Beauty and the Beast film from a couple years back, and he's also in the X-Men TV show Legion.
This dude is a fucking chameleon.
Yeah.
He's a lizard.
Yep. I mean, like, I guess there's a kind of like
He does transform himself.
I
Like,
didn't
will
even
say that.
recognize him necessarily, and it wasn't even that broad of a difference from the Downton Abbey.
Yeah, and he was also in Downton Abbey. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, he's a handsome dude, and he definitely in this movie looked very sort of disheveled and like. I mean,
Oh, shit.
we're looking at a picture of him here. This is just sort of a normal picture of him right now.
And that's more him like in The Guest.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but he looked very sort of unkempt and like haggard. I guess would be a good word.
Well, yeah, when we first see him, and then even his transformation to go.
Well, no, I mean, I think for the whole movie, I think for the most
I
part,
think he
he's
got worse and worse. Like, I mean, that whole that whole island, they, you know, I mean, that's hard living back then, comparatively speaking. Anyway, I guess. You know, it might be the lap of luxury for that era, but you know, I mean, you don't often see people shower and shit in movies, but you know, you pretty much followed him around. He didn't do too much after he got fucking beat up and ran through the sewer. And
Why didn't he eat those fucking burgers where he couldn't, go for a couple of days?
Raven Chow, do you know who the character David Haller is? Do you or Mars know? Is that a character you recognize?
David Haller. David Haller
from
that's,
X-Men.
Isn't that's Legion?
Yeah.
That's the Professor X's son.
Oh, okay. That's what I was wondering. Because I knew he was, he plays an X-Men in the show Legion. I just didn't know who David Haller was. So
you know who I would
David. That's a titular character.
Yeah,
I would have cast him as Cypher.
Doug Ramsey.
Yeah.
I think it's too old.
Well, Doug Ramsey now. I'm not making a.
No, fair with him.
Last time I saw Doug Ramsey, he was a fucking warlock zombie.
I fucking hated Doug Locke.
So this flick here, one of the other things I wanted to mention is, so I read a little bit about this, and I'm sure we'll get a little bit deeper into this as we continue on, but for the look of the film, Gareth Evans was inspired by Italian painter Caravaggio.
You're welcome.
Interesting.
And he says that his paintings combine a realistic observation of the human state, both physical and emotional, with a dramatic use of lighting, which had a formative influence on the Baroque painting. So I thought that
girls.
I thought that was kind of interesting because this film definitely had sort of an interesting palette. I'm not going to say it was like totally unique. We've certainly seen movies like this, but it had a very sort of muted color palette to it. And I thought that was pretty interesting. And now reading the thing about Caravaggio makes me think, like, absolutely, I can see where that influence came from. Because if you guys look at his paintings, very much plays up like the shadow and light of things. So I'll pull some stuff up. But other than that, I mean, like this, I don't know what the budget was on this, but it looks like there is a pretty decent sized budget on display in terms of the set.
Yeah,
the
the
setting.
sets were absolutely huge. The scope of this movie is pretty big.
And I think it takes it back to even the flick we watched last week. The whole when we touched upon this, but the made for Netflix movie. If what we've seen the last 2 weeks, that's not direct to DVD anymore.
Right.
Direct to video.
This is almost like this is a film that you would see in the theater.
Oh yeah.
This is that quality level for me.
It's a weird middle ground though, because there's a certain part of I don't know. There's almost like a.
Here's some Caravaggio, by the way, if you guys can see how it's very sort of like kind of muted, but a lot of shadow.
Yeah, Caravaggio, the medieval cookie puss.
Medieval cookie puss.
What the fuck does that mean?
Tom Caravaggio.
Shut his mic off.
Hey, come on down to Caravaggio's.
And
We got Fudgy the monk.
Fudgy the monk.
And you could get Fudgy the Inquisitioner.
Just in time for Valentine's Day.
Wow.
Oh no! If you got.
God damn you.
Really, you're saying you contributed to that
Just
madness.
just in time for Arbor Day. Here's the Wood Witch, complete with leaf sprinkles. Isn't she cute?
I got Fudgy old Wood Witch for St. Patty's Day.
Oh boy.
Tom
The
Caravaggio.
wood witch with the big nose.
That's funny to me.
Okay, I'm going to disagree with you, MZ, as far as the size of the sets.
Helen the
I don't think they
Hostage.
were big. I think they were very small, and they did an excellent job of shooting them.
Well, I'm talking about the.
Well, they definitely
the
created
use of-
a town, a small
yeah,
town.
Yeah.
The use,
Oh, yeah,
the use
small
of the
town.
land that was around them that they created this small town.
But I have the
This
feeling like
commune.
they were probably only on, maybe 2 acres, but gave you the feeling that this town was 10 acres.
Wait, where do you say they were?
Huh?
How many acres?
2?
Oh, hit him in the nuts.
What was that for?
He hit him in the nuts.
I called him. That's what everyone.
How's that for a couple of acres?
Okay, I
Jesus.
had nothing. I had no knowledge of that, MC. I apologize. I didn't know what he was going for.
All right, now it's starting to hurt.
It's a delayed reaction too. It
Yeah.
doesn't get any
Takes a
better.
while to cycle through those bad boys.
It takes a while for the blood to circulate through, man. And
Jesus.
now the pain is starting to throb on my right nut.
We don't need the whole ins and outs.
play-by-play,
there.
I'm glad you're not getting a visual.
Thank you.
Is that Rufus or Ronaldo?
It's Ronaldo. It'll be like.
After the second time I got you at Rocket Shock, I was afraid you were going to swell up like Tommy Dreamer at He Wave 98. Jerry Lawler.
And also, this is Gareth Evans' first English language film since his debut, Footsteps, because he did obviously did the 2 Raid films.
Where's
Yeah.
he from?
He is Australian or New Zealand.
Ecuador.
Oh.
Jesus.
I know that he's...
Wait, don't they speak English in those places?
Yeah, but he went to... So he did
He's
a...
Welsh.
Yeah, so thank you. So he filmed a documentary in Indonesia and learned about that Salt Deva, I think is how you say it, martial art, and said, why is nobody making fucking movies with this shit in it? It's totally dope. So he made Maratu, and it really got away from him.
Okay.
In the next movie they were going to make was called Brennendal, and
Barrendal.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it was too expensive for what they had planned, so they just scaled it back and made The Raid, which kind of redefined action films for like this generation. So, but he made his 2 middle films, his 2 most quintessential films as of right now, were made almost predominantly in Jakarta, I think. So.
Yeah, so I think this was filmed in the UK, if I'm not mistaken.
looked like it was filmed like at. It looked like.
Yeah, it says Port Talbot, Neath, Port Talbot, Wales, UK. So it was shot in the Wales.
Yeah.
It looked like if you like got on the same boat that you were gonna get in Coldspin and sailed in that opposite direction.
Interesting. Okay. What?
What is
What is hand signals?
I think
I
he's
got
too
no idea
hot.
what he's trying to tell me. I just nodded and
hot.
smiled at him, and he continued to do what he was doing.
Did he say it was that tiny white stop?
I don't know.
He's hot.
Fuck.
I think that's
You
what
really-
he's saying. He's hot.
And it's hot too.
Why did you
Jesus.
just say hot? I had no idea
Yeah.
what you were trying to
Hey, doing
signal.
hand
I didn't
signals.
want to interrupt the fucking dialogue. I thought you
Since
understand.
when
how
has
it
that
is.
stopped you?
What? Watch. No one will hear this.
I heard it. I
Nope.
heard it.
Nope. Everyone in the room heard it. No one at home heard that.
Well, we don't know
Colin,
yet.
did you hear that?
It's a
Anyway,
magic.
the apostle.
Yes. Anyways, Jesus.
So where you go?
Christ.
So why'd you come back?
Well, I didn't want to leave. I just figured I'd open the door to kind of let some air come in.
Why'd you turn on the air conditioner? It's right behind you.
All right. So
Johnny would yell at me.
So this film obviously is quite different from the Raid films. If you guys have seen the Raid and you're expecting that, you're going to be disappointed. This is not. This is a very intense film, though, I will say.
Oh yeah.
And the the tension just ratchets up from the beginning right up until near the end, and it just is sort of this very steady increase in tension all the way through. And I think it really keeps you guessing. Like, I had no idea where this movie was going to go for most of the runtime until like maybe the last 15 to 20 minutes or so. And even then, like, I still didn't quite know. Like, it's not like it kept twisting and turning and it had all these twists, but it just was sort of taking you on this ride. You didn't really know where you're going, and I think you just are along for the ride. And I like the way that the story unfolded. I like the performance by Dan Stevens and others as well, not just Dan Stevens, but I think that he had quite a good performance. But the basic setup we have here is Dan Stevens, his sister was kidnapped by this cult that's living on an island, and basically sent a ransom note to the dad and said, send money, come alone, send money, and then we'll give her back to you. So I think they were just sort of like trying to extort him to get money for this cult. And so Dan Stevens' character, what's his name? I don't have it in front of me. Do you guys
Thomas
remember?
Richardson.
Thomas, yes, thank you. So Thomas, he goes to this island, and while there, he sort of is trying to blend in with the cult and also find out where his sister is and rescue her. And that's the basic setup without giving too much away. And obviously, while he's there, he sort of we find out more about this cult. We found out sort of what's going on. And this isn't like The Sacrament, or it's not even like The Endless. Like, this is a kind of a different kind of feel to it,
And that's what I was kind of worried about. Was I'm not really a fan of cult movies. I didn't like the last few ones we've done.
So you don't want to see Survival of Film Freaks?
I hear it's very good.
Cult as in movies that have a cult.
Correct.
Yep.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
We certainly have a spotty history with them on the show.
Yes.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wasn't overall excited by the initial premise, but that changed for me.
All right.
I was curious. I'll be honest.
Yeah. No, it did. It did.
No, I really enjoyed the subject matter in this because I've always found cults to be rather fascinating. Of course, I never agree with anything that they stand for. I just find their philosophies very unusual and fascinating.
Well, I mean,
And
they're all different, right? Like,
Oh, sure.
some are religious, some are, just sort of
in this case, it's
sensational.
religious.
Yeah, and this is more or less religious. Yes.
Yeah. So it reminded me a lot of the, of course, like the, it takes its ideas from like Jonestown Massacre or the Umberto Lenzi film Eaten Alive, which to a certain degree it follows this same pattern of a sibling trying to find her sister, in this case his sister, and with from a religious cult. So it's interesting to see how far they're going to push the boundaries of the religious aspect of these kind of beliefs.
Right,
how
right.
far they're willing to take it as far as they could possibly go without completely offending just about everybody. Now this kind of movie doesn't offend me. I'm not religious in any way, shape, or form. So I was I had a free path into thinking how this movie was going to be. I didn't have any religious connotations, thinking that it's going to. Well, they shouldn't have done this because my beliefs is this and this and this.
I would think, and I may be being naive. One of us certainly is, that no one from the Westboro Baptist Church is going to sit down and watch The Apostle. So I'm not, I feel like...
Hey, Paul.
Yeah. I feel
that ain't what Jesus would do. Is that how they talk?
And now, in time for Christmas, a delicious Jesus cake. Perfect for your stigmata and your stigfata.
Jesus puss.
Oh boy.
Fudge of the Christ.
Fudge of the Christ.
Christy puss.
Yeah. Christopus.
Now at Carestos, remember the time that Jesus got all the snakes off island and get Jesus opus.
But
first time
so
Mike
I did enjoy.
It's Shamrocks.
Hold on. First time Mike says it was interesting how much grayer and melancholic the village looked than the surrounding land as the movie goes on.
Yeah, that was a real nice subtle touch, I thought. That is, in my opinion, is a very good use of... I feel we live in an era where low-budget films try to capitalize on, all the digital effects they have at their, you know what I mean? Their thing, and I feel like that was a really good, subtle use of, color control. But my point is, MZ, I don't think that anybody that is going to be offended by the religious connotations of this are going to sit down and watch The Apostle.
Probably not.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
So what do you... I don't know. What are you talking about?
What do you mean, what am I talking about?
I don't know.
Probably not, but I disagree. Some people, who are heavily into religion,
right,
who are majorly heavy into religion, almost like Margaret White of Margaret White levels, would
had their own
probably
fantasy
avoid
team.
a film like this. But this movie can push a few buttons, probably. If somebody who is a god toter, would
a god toad
toter
oh
would watch this and might find themselves a little bit offended.
I mean, I feel like maybe Chinese people may be marginally offended by elements of the portrayal, but I don't think that I don't know. Maybe I'm fucking.
I mean,
crazy.
Maybe I'm wrong, but this community was also obviously founded on religious freedom of some sort, but it didn't feel like there was that much of a Bible thumping movie.
No, it really wasn't.
I didn't
No, but
I didn't
what
get
it
the
does,
feeling that they were going to offend any religious sects watching this movie.
No, but what it does is that it takes the religious aspect and turns it into something evil, which is something a lot of these kind of films do.
But it's
Well,
not like they
that's
scream it, though.
It's the fanaticism of religion, and that's one of the, I think, sort of one of the sort of social issues that's being sort of investigated in this. I don't think we can talk about all of the social commentary going on here without giving stuff away.
Right.
So I hesitate to say more than that. But there definitely is this sort of idea that a martyr type person is sensationalized and everyone just follows that person blindly, right?
Right.
Like that's happened all throughout time, not even just now, but it is something that's very prevalent right now as well, where we have, a leader who people will just blindly follow no matter what stupid shit he says,
with promises of food and shelter and
and never gives any of it.
Yeah. It's like
You
giving
get
away,
paper towels and you get paper towels.
Pretty much, yeah.
But
it was like when they do that. I mean, it's early on in the film, the interview process.
Yeah. So, I think that just speaks to a lot of what is going on in the world at all times, especially now, but always. But there is also some other, I'm trying to think of how to broach this without giving too much away, but sort of, it does tackle patriarchy and matriarchy, or I guess more patriarchy, and just sort of how other people are thought of or used, I guess, without getting too specific and giving anything away. So I actually really enjoyed that aspect of it because it sort of said a lot about what's going on now, even though it sort of really it's timeless. Like this has been going on for so many years that it would work no matter what year you say, And and First Time Mike says another major theme in this movie is faith.
Yes.
Dun, dun.
And Jesse G says, I fucking love this movie.
Oh, Jesse G's in the house.
And, yep, he is in the house. And Leanna says, I always found cults fascinating too, MZ. As a kid, I was obsessed with Jonestown docs.
Yeah. I got one of the Jonestown docs at home. It's fascinating shit. Very interesting.
And Leanna asks, is the cult kind of like the one in The Ritual? Nah. It's pretty different.
More of it's not even so much like I feel like the fact that they made it
there
a
are
cult,
some similarities, but I would say they're different. Yeah,
I feel like the fact that they made it a cult was more to try to make the patriarchy stuff and the blind faith more palatable. You know what I mean? Without having, because it wasn't in like a certain community that we would, what I mean? It wasn't like it was at Plymouth Rock or in, like somewhere where we would understand the shorthand of what this religion, what this community, beliefs were. So I think the cult was more because the infrastructure of that wasn't that different than any small town I think would be at that time.
Yeah, for this day and age, to take the religion and distort it to the extent that this movie did and isolate them as they did, it's not that far-fetched.
No.
But you can't just pinpoint a specific religion that they're basing this on.
No, it was more like this Spanish Inquisition as far as their beliefs than it was, you know what I mean? Than or their techniques anyway, and some of their iconography. But what? What do you got a blowjob face for right now?
What the fuck?
Whoa! No, I'm not. My hands are here.
I thought it was almost a home run.
Oh yeah, I got the baseball game on here.
This is what I saw.
He got his O face.
Get the game off.
I was excited. I was excited to fucking AL fucking next fucking stop the World Series.
Yeah, they're gonna blow it. So just get over it.
5 minutes ago, Corny said, "Damn it, I just shot water out my nose, laughing at y'all."
Sorry,
I don't know what that was for.
Sorry,
but
man.
Look, I was fucking.
We don't try to be funny.
So the movie.
Ray Chow's making his O face.
Yeah, we're almost going to the World Series.
Did you watch the movie?
Yeah, I'm watching the fucking game right now.
This movie is really like an amalgamation of various different ideas. Well, like I said, Jonestown Massacre, Wicker Man.
Yep. Yeah, that's that folk horror angle. Yep.
Yeah, and also it has some dribs and drabs of like early Tim Burton, and also Clive Barker's Tortured Souls.
There was
how so, Tim Burton?
Yeah. Explain yourself.
Sleepy Hollow, I think, is probably what he means.
Settle down.
No, don't. Settle down. Don't. You can't say Tim Burton and then tell me to settle down.
Yeah,
I can tell you to settle down, but if you give me a chance to say it,
because Tim Burton's
I asked and you got defensive. Speak.
Would look like sets.
Zip it. Speak.
I just find the way the woods are the way the woods.
That was a home run, Raven Shadow.
The way the woods are looking around the in the town has a very Tim Burton-esque vibe to it. The dried up vines, the use of color between dark and light. As far as
Those Caravaggio, man.
No. Listen to me. You know how Tim Burton uses his ideas of color and light. Say like in a movie like of dark and light. Say like in a movie like Sleepy Hollow, for instance.
At conventions, you could get Edward
The
Scissorhands.
only movie that this is like.
I'm giving you an
one
example.
Movie. One example.
You asked for a example. I'm
no.
telling you.
I didn't say a example. I said
Tim
explain
Burton
yourself.
generally makes the woods look fake.
Using one movie.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah.
See? Not funny as now, is it?
I'm explaining myself, but he still doesn't like it.
No, because you only got one example.
It's good for the goose.
You
It's good
asked
for the
for one
Gandalf.
example.
I didn't ask for one. I said explain
wait.
yourself.
Then what did I am?
Then use another example besides that movie. Besides Sleepy Hollow.
Fight!
Kick his ass!
Kick his ass, Seabass!
Don't say Tim Burton if you mean Sleepy Hollow.
Oh my God! Why did Tim Burton have nothing to do with Sleepy Hollow?
No, but that's
then
one.
Shut
movie.
up!
Hey, that's one movie.
Yeah,
Convosos.
oh
that
my
you can
fucking
get the
One
head,
movie does not
the
make a
heedless
director.
horseman.
Is this for real? Is this
Yes,
guy for real?
it is for real. One movie does
Is
not
he
make a
actually
director.
for
Aries,
real?
Aries was nice this weekend. Now he's getting back at
Yeah,
all
really.
of us.
All right, let's say Batman Returns.
Lots of woods in that.
Yeah,
the woods
I
look
thought
What the
God-
hell is
Gotham.
everyone laughing at?
because there's no woods in Batman Returns.
That's not the point I'm trying to make, you dick face. Listen
You
to
said
what I'm
woods.
saying. I'm trying to discuss this movie and you won't shut up long enough.
What about Tim Burton?
You know what?
Go ahead.
You know what?
Go
Wait,
ahead.
wait.
You
wait,
could get
wait.
the
Hold on.
delicious fuck me sideways.
I refuse to say another word about what I'm trying to tell you until you shut the fuck up.
Go ahead.
Are you ready to shut up?
Are you ready?
Are you ready for some football? That's what I said.
It has nothing to do. I'm not trying to use the woods. I'm trying to use the difference between light and dark. Okay. The use of light and dark in this movie is very Tim Burton-esque. Say, like, all right, the nighttime scenes, the woods surrounding it, has a very Tim Burton-like. But it's the editing as well, where the scene where they're going through that dried up corn, not a cornfield, but a wheat field, I think it is, where with the white stalks.
Yeah.
You know, and that's that contrast is very sharp, and you get that kind of stuff in Tim Burton movies with the contrast between light and dark. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
It's the
Other than
contrast.
Sleeping
Jesus.
Hollow, give me an example.
I just told you.
Other than
Batman.
All right. Use an
Cavacio.
example from
No. Other
Sleepy
than
Hollow?
Sleepy Hollow, other than Sleepy Hollow, give me an example in a Tim Burton movie.
I love.
but I don't
all right.
I don't see what
Like
you
I
mean.
said, Batman Returns. It takes place during the wintertime, and the use of the dark sets with the white snow. It's that contrast between color that's so appealing, and it makes it
The
come
contrast.
across like a Tim. I'm not saying it comes across like a Tim Burton film, but those color contrasts and the editing in which it's used to portray them gives it a very Tim Burton-esque vibe. There. Shut up. Who's next?
I don't think it looks like Tim Burton at all.
I didn't say it looked like Tim Burton. I said Tim Burton-esque.
There's more
Look
like
it
That's
up
what
in
that-
your dictionary.
That's
it's
what
it's
that
in the
means.
Yeah. What does esque mean then? Define esque.
esque.
Bill S.
What- yeah.
Preston
Saying
Esquire.
it 3 times doesn't define it.
He's waiting for an Eskimo to show up.
Saying it 3 times just makes you the
Eskimo,
berserker.
Eskimo.
Maybe if I look in a mirror and say, esque, maybe it'll come true.
Yeah, Dennis Escalade.
So here's where I don't agree. Tim Burton sets like this. Tim Burton's would film all this stuff, and it would all look like sets.
Well,
It
plus,
would all not
yeah,
look
and Tim
organic.
Burton has this sort of quirky, melancholic feel to everything he does. This felt realistic to
This
me.
looked very.
Well,
Tim
I'm
Burton
just
almost-
saying, this is what I feel, okay? It doesn't matter whether it's true or not.
I think you feel lumpy.
I mean, Tim Burton almost it makes it look like a stage performance in real life,
lumpy.
and I don't feel this movie had that at all.
It seemed more organic.
Yes.
Today,
Now,
at
now mind you,
Cavasio's-
I love Tim Burton. I love the fact that he does that.
Yo,
Do
so-
you love Tim Burton, and do you
I-
love the fact that he does that?
I know he's
Today at
obviously more
Cavazio's,
organic than
you can
Tim
get
Burton.
You keep butchering Caravaggio.
Cavazio's. You can get Pee-wee's
Caravaggio McMahon.
Big Delicious and Beetle orange juice ice cream cakes.
Cavaggio's.
Come on down to
What the
Caravaggio.
fuck are you doing now?
Oh, me?
Yeah, you.
What do you mean? What do you possibly mean?
I mean, what are you doing?
I'm
I-
doing a podcast.
Go run along and poop or something.
Go run along and poop.
Probably sit down first. Wowzers.
I'm in
is
trouble.
going
For
on?
literally, this is one of those times that I'm in trouble for something and have no idea what I did.
Sorry, MJ, I hear what you're saying.
You don't hear it.
So anyway, that's the argument that I make. It doesn't matter whether or not you guys agree with it. It's just my feeling about it.
It is your opinion,
Thank you.
and your opinion is wrong.
It's not wrong.
It is.
It might be to you, but it's not to me.
Well,
Yeah, so that
if,
makes
it,
it
if
wrong.
it's Dynamo's
No.
opinion, you're either
you either agree with him or you're wrong.
no, or it's
Or something like that.
well, what was it, Mars? You're either right or what? Yours is a manifesto.
Well, yeah. If you have something that's an opinion,
Yeah,
If I
yours is
think
opinion. His
something's
is
a
a
manifesto.
manifesto.
I have a cult. Look at my eyes. What do you see?
You
It's a
got
cult of personality.
You got Gary Busey eyes.
You got Gary Busey's eyes.
Yes.
Write that down.
Where the fuck were we?
I don't know. Fucking. We had Tim. This movie was very Tim Burton-esque.
Yeah, it looked like Batman. Looked like Gotham
It was very
City
similar
in the
to
woods.
Big Fish with the Ben Kenobi.
So let me go off on another sort of
The
angle
Ben
here.
Kenobi.
Well, a Ben
The-
Kenobi.
let me talk about the score.
Oh yes.
The score was amazing. Oh, MZ showing pictures of Gary Busey's eyes.
And he'll tease you. He'll unease you. It's better just to please you. He's atrocious and caducious. He's got Gary Busey's eyes.
It's exciting.
The
He'll
score.
expose you.
The score.
Yeah.
Fucking good, right? Do you guys dig
Very
the score?
good score.
Yeah.
Love the score to this.
It
Very Prince-like.
reminded me of Princess music.
I was thinking about Tim Burton's
from
Batman.
If you believe that in the slightest, get the fuck out of this room.
New cult in town. Oh yeah. I know. It's good. Just having fun with you.
You just funning us.
Fun.
He likes cult, man.
Although I will have to say the animal violence in this is
Fucking
very nonchalant.
lay off the
and,
goats, dude. Lay off
and
the
like
goat.
sterile.
Yeah.
The goat
where-
community's pissed.
Well, this
I mean, there's one where I could see how they pulled it off. There's other two. The other two, I can't see how
well,
they.
I think that this
you
is
know.
actually a like a shot across the bow to the film The Witch, and specifically the goat Black
Black
Like
Phillip.
Phillip.
Black Phillip. Yeah, I think that they killed a lot of black goats. They're like, you think that your shit is scary, but this is the apostle goats will kill you. We're even more scary. You think that's probably true, MZ?
Probably.
Okay, good.
I gave Ollie a hug a couple
Now,
times
I
during the
just
boat
know-
scene.
I mean that lamb at the beginning. The lamb at the beginning.
Yeah, that
on
was
the
rough.
boat.
That
That
was
was
That dude was a
God.
dick, man. It pissed me off.
That was hard to sit through.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I mean,
So for trigger warning for anyone who doesn't like animal violence, there's a little bit of it in this,
Yeah.
and
It's not real.
Well, of course not.
You know,
of course
but
not.
it's not-
You can't
oh,
get
it's
away with
snuff
that
film.
now.
I mean, it's
but,
not real.
But
just
it looks
thankfully.
pretty
Yeah.
genuine.
I mean,
Yeah.
I like to think that particular goat floated to the bottom of the ocean, became the king of Atlantis.
I mean, but it wasn't the opening scene. At least was not done gratuitously. I think it sent a message to what
Yeah.
what you kind of going into.
I was kidding about the Black Phillip thing, by the way. The only one who I didn't think MZ would even believe me, but he did.
That was funny.
So, I guess at this point, it's going to be difficult to talk about specifics, but I do want to talk about that underground tunnel scene where he first goes underground.
Oh.
And he's sort of hiding from someone.
Yeah.
That scene was fucking creepy and very claustrophobic.
Right.
And as someone who, I mean, I haven't been in tight and close spaces, but I think I have claustrophobia, or at least I did when I was a kid. Like, that was definitely, like, stuck out to me. It was like, whoa, it was really well filmed because it was in a very small space. And
with not much light to work with.
Yeah, and it was very creepy what was going on.
Very well shot.
Yeah.
And the tension that was in that scene.
That whole scene.
That whole scene was just ridiculous. And just amazingly well shot too, considering the lack of light.
Yeah,
just beautifully done.
And speaking of the way things were shot, like I love the way this was filmed. Very deliberate camera movements, and I'm not saying Carando invented this, but for us, anyways, on this show, Carando sort of like did that very. It was a very like big scene. It was that fight scene where he rotated the camera.
Right.
It just was so impactful that I will always remember that scene.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like during high drama moments we got a little bit of that. We never got a full revolution, but we got like quarter turns, like very like sort of like making you feel very uneasy.
I mean, you would definitely get some of that Dutch angle sort of stuff in the raid. When
Well, it wasn't
like
even a Dutch angle. Dutch angle is just one angle. This went like it went 90 degrees.
Yeah,
you know.
I think it was even more jarring because you were seeing kind of his kind of calling card action style and like his kind of calling card tension ratcheting up style, but it was almost at odds with the tone of the film. So it made it like almost physically, jarring at times.
Because while there was some action in this, but for the most part, it was these big moments where in a film like in The Raid, it would have been an action scene when he did this, but in this, he was doing a very dramatic or tense moment, and he would do these interesting camera movements.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
and the one of my favorites because the camera work in this movie is very, very well done, and one of my favorite scenes was this creature. I don't know what his name was, but I call him like Wickerhead.
Yeah, I know who you mean. Yeah,
and he has this. He has someone in a sack, like a burlap sack.
Yep.
And he's walking through a door, and the door is like far away, and he's dragging the bag behind him with this person inside it, and he's coming closer and closer, closer and closer to the camera. Then he makes a small turn, and he goes towards another door.
Yep.
So it's kind of like a V-shaped room that he's in. And the amazing thing about that shot is how it never goes out of focus.
Yeah, like I wonder, like it's funny, like
I
wonder if he took the same time, like because I've watched, like there's probably not a lot about the Raid that I don't know at this point, like, and I think that he meticulously, he doesn't storyboard his action scenes, he literally video plans them out. And I wonder if he took that same care of blocking to some of the like shots in this, that would have and could have been shot in a more mundane way. I'm thinking specifically that scene with the little kid, I think it was a kid in the mask, and he pantomimed shooting him, and he like bent in half and stuff like
down
that.
The
Just
hallway.
the whole way that was, you know what I mean? Like there was not a lot of throwaway shots in this, whether they be expository or like a creep out moment or an important thing. Like he really orchestrated every inch of this movie, which
Yeah, he was like
Yeah.
a and like you say an orchestrator,
Yeah.
like what's the person called who's
Conductor?
the conductor? Yeah, I mean, it felt like he was at. I mean, obviously that's what a director does, but it seemed like he was at the like every scene, like directing.
where one
like,
wrong
where-
move that could be obnoxious, right? Like
Yep.
where like like I said, there's very little fat in this movie, you
Mm.
know, in the sense visual fat. I mean.
And despite it being, you know, a 130-minute runtime, there is very little fat.
Yeah, no, I think I mean it. Like you had to like. It's weird considering like, it seemed like it was going to jumpstart from that like in that house in that library where he was kind of getting the 411 of what was going on. That seemed like a very jumpstart. You know what I mean? Like you didn't show up. You didn't. You got all this like fast-paced exposition dialogue.
Yep.
And then he got on the fucking boat and like sailed over in seemingly real time, like like so and you had like showed how uncomfortable it was and how not great the conditions were and stuff. Like it was like I can see people not enjoying this for some of the same reasons that they may not enjoy the film we reviewed last week. But
I was just going
Go
to
ahead,
say,
yeah.
I do love the way this film is paced. It's like the first half of the film is all carefully studied on character development and who are these people. Basically the main, I'd say maybe 7 or 8 main characters.
that's what it reminded me of, by the way, was Maine.
And it was carefully studied into the character development of these guys. And then the second half of the film was just all hell breaking loose.
Yeah, and one thing I thought was interesting, in another interview I saw with Gareth Evans, he said a couple movies that he really wanted to use as sort of inspiration was The Wicker Man, Witchfinder General, and there was a third one from 1979. I can't remember the name of it, but it was like a folk horror like that. And he said there was just something about the aesthetic in these films that filled me with a sense of dread. There was something about the way people would behave that was also ever so slightly off kilter, to a degree where it'd make you feel unsettled from the very first minute of those films starting. Mm-hmm. And he definitely did that.
Yeah. I will say that, just not that you said, not that you, this is exactly what you said, but for someone to imply that this was very not Evans, like if you watched The Raid 2, which was a lot slower and it wasn't even slower, it had a lot more breathing room than say The Raid. There was a lot of scenes in that reminded me of this, like in the sense where there was a tension during dialogue, and like he's just so good at making situations that somebody else would make not, like he gives you the context to make a conversation feel as rotten as if you were there. Like you can unpack every subtext to what everybody's saying and every motion and every cross glance and everything else. Like I think that he's underrated in that sense, because I think that really, like a lot of people compared it to elements of his film to the dude who made what's the fucking movie that Leonardo DiCaprio, The Departed, what was that movie originally, Wolfie?
Infernal
Infernal
Affairs, yeah.
The guy made Infernal Affairs, or even Scorsese to a degree, as of how he kind of like handles these interactions between crime bosses or police or whatever else, But I think that there were a lot of scenes in this film that reminded me of the opening of The Raid 2, like how abrupt things.
Yeah,
like
the car when they pull up, that scene.
Yeah. And like how they're in that little shack and they're like, there's that execution and like all this stuff that just feels really real. Yeah. But like you can imagine how you would feel, but like it's fucking outlandish what's happening. You know what I mean? But so like I think that he's like super underrated in his like ability to ratchet tension in situations that other directors may have just be throwaway dialogue, or you know what I mean, like and also nobody in this feels like they're like, well, I think some of the characters at times are chewing up scenery a little bit, but nobody, like, it's not like a Canon Films joint. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or like a Corman joint where like the intent is put over by posturing.
Right.
You know.
So I think we could start to wind down. Is there any thoughts about this film that you guys haven't got out yet? Anything like any of the technical aspects of the film, any of the sort of creative aspects, anything like that we have yet to discuss? So you guys want to get out?
I mean, there's not a lot of gore, but there's gore.
Yep, and when it's there, it's there.
Oh, it's definitely in your face, and some of the torture techniques, I would not be a bit surprised if. You
pass out again?
Are you in a stroke?
I lost my train of thought. No, I'll get back. Get back to me.
You're just realizing that now after 20 years.
Yeah.
Wolf, you started mentioning it earlier.
Yep.
The score in this, I really loved it because it was more of a natural score. Like there was a lot of just percussion or clapping, just very natural for the period. And I just thought it was very appropriate.
It reminded me a little bit of the score of Aliens 3. It wasn't as like bombastic, but there was a lot of that kind of very organic sounding, like metals and like sounded like strings on on strings and stuff like that. Like I think they call them rub rods that make those kind of like unnatural
rub rod.
Like like you know what I mean? Like they sound like a mixture of like glass on glass, like nails on a chalkboard and like violin bows, you know.
Yeah, it was actually, and so the guy I don't know the guy's name offhand, but the guy who did the score for The Witch created this thing called like I can't remember, what is it fucking called, like the Scare Machine or something like that. And all these different ways to make these interesting ambient sounds. One of them was like actually a saw that he used, he'd bend the saw and then use a horsehair bow for like a violin.
Yeah.
And there's other things that would you click and they'd like make shake and make noises. It's really cool.
I think I read something about that.
Yeah, there's an awesome video about it. So if people want to see that, it was on YouTube and I saw it. But I can't remember. It was called like the Scare Machine or something like that. But it had all these different ways to make noise, and he created it specifically for The Witch. I'm not saying it was the same thing, but there was some very sort of organic, naturalistic sounds that were used for this to create the score, I think.
I mean, there was one in particular. I don't remember the scene, but I do remember the score attached to it. It was clapping, and as the scene built up, the clapping got a little bit out of rhythm.
Yep.
And it was it created such a tension in the scene. It was perfect.
It's amazing. Well, maybe it's not amazing, but like how much a score can really impact a film. And this one, the tension would have been there even with a lesser score, but with the score, it just really ratcheted up that next level, like really, really well. All right, well, I think we're kind of winding things down. We did run long with the intro, so maybe we're not going to be talking about this as long as we had hoped. But there is some spoiler stuff that we don't really want to get into. This movie literally just came out on Netflix last week, so I don't want to go too deep into it. There are some themes I really wish we could talk about that I think are important, but they are a little bit spoiler. So I think we're going to have to leave them alone for now. But let's go to the verdict.
Trick or treat, baby.
I wonder if people would say you're a trick or a treat.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
All right, verdict time. We're going to let you know whether this flick was a trick or a treat and any final thoughts we may have. Let's start with Raven Shadow.
This was not the best movie to put in late last night. A little bit slow. Things got me derailed. But
did you finish it again this morning?
No. I was like fucking Madonna. I was fucking borderline, brother. It was like really close.
What was the last line spoken?
The end. Okay.
What was the best line of the year?
Oh boy, I'm sick of all these apostles. But for me, I was into it. But for me, it was the interrogation part,
yeah,
if you will, and the way that turns out, where I'm like, oh, now I'm kind of into it. And I don't want to spoil it, man. But check it out. I'm gonna be preaching, so to speak. I'm gonna start a cult on this movie. No, I dug it. Check it out. Fucking Netflix like a mug. Treat.
Like a mug?
Like a mug.
By the way, First Time Mike always got my back, and Blood on Satan's Claw was the third film that he was referring to with Witchfinder General and The Wicker Man. So thank you, FTM. As always, you got my back, bro.
Choice flick.
All right, let's hear from Aries. Your thoughts?
All in all, I did enjoy this movie. It is a long movie. It is fairly well paced. You know, as all movies go, a little slow in the beginning. As soon as it starts picking up, it picks up. It does keep you engaged in it. My only complaint with this movie is that the underlining story is a little weak. If you break everything down to the story as it's at its whole, at its basic, it's a little weak. But I think everything else makes up for it. I think they do a good job. You're just keeping you engaged in a very basic story for 2 hours. So this movie definitely is a treat.
All right, MZ.
Yeah, this is a very well made film, and this year is shaping up to look really, really great for our top 13 this year, because this was a fantastic movie. All the performances were top notch. The editing, the lighting was beautiful. The camera work was stellar. Just wonderful. Wonderful.
So like Matt Hardy.
Wonderful dialogue and a lot of bone crunching. So be prepared for that. And it does get violent. It does get bloody. So if you want your gore right up and in your face, you're gonna get it. Just hang in there. It will show up. And this is definitely a treat for me. I did enjoy this quite a bit.
Mars. This is my favorite movie. While I would not say that this is my favorite movie of his,
well, it's hard to top.
I think that in between this gentleman's films, other people come, and I think that they might be my favorite filmmaker, but. I think I'm going to even enjoy this more on repeat viewings because there's a lot,
I definitely would want to watch this again.
Yeah.
Especially once you know where it's going. I think you can kind of hone in on what's going on.
I just really, I mean, this guy's fucking great. I think that he is the most underrated director right now.
I don't think he's underrated. Maybe underknown.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Because the people that know him, I mean, obviously, if you've seen the Raid films, I mean, everyone should know who fucking Gareth Evans is if you've seen the Raid films.
Yeah, and I mean, his because his style is so tough and that's fighting style, like it's almost you really have to look hard at things to see that they're copying it, But I think that this guy's fucking great. I think he's, in my opinion, the best. He's everything I like about 3 or 4 different filmmakers I love. And I've said that right since The Raid. And this just enforced some of the other filmmakers that I like that you wouldn't see, you know what I mean, that you might not get from First Thing, but I fucking love it. I like this guy. It's good. Treat.
All right. For me, definitely a treat as well. It is nice to see Gareth Evans step outside. Not that I would mind if we saw The Raid 3 or another movie like that at all, but, it is good to see him sort of step outside of, what he's been doing and try something different, because I think that this movie is really effective, and he sort of replaces action for tension and drama, and it's almost shot in a similar way, which I think is really interesting because you don't really see that. Like, you don't see these very tense scenes always given so much care, like an action scene. So I thought that it was interesting, and I think he can really hone in on that stuff based on his experience as an action director. So I think that's kind of interesting. But no, this is a really good film, and as a couple of the other guys had mentioned, this is going to be. It's interesting to see how this year has developed, and we have a lot of contenders for the year-end list now. And This one probably is up there for me. I don't know exactly where it's going to fall just yet, but this is a really solid movie. And the fact that we've seen 2 Netflix movies in consecutive weeks that are vying for our top lists potentially, that's fucking huge. Like, Netflix has been, like, got to hand it to them. They've been, like, really kicking ass.
You know, I mean, if they continue to, I'm all for paying the extra money if they keep on putting out shit like this.
Whoa.
Slow it down.
Yeah, slow it down. Yeah. They just raised the price.
You want to pay for everybody here?
Yeah.
Money
and we're going to
Yeah.
get commercials soon, too. So
No, but it's worth it. I mean, they weren't putting out stuff like this before.
No, I would agree with that.
It's worth
I'm
it.
not telling them they should raise the price, but if they if they keep upping their game like this, then yes, like if there's another price increase, like it's probably not going to be a big deal for a lot of people because their original stuff is better than a lot of the stuff, like the third party stuff they had up there. You know?
Right. I mean,
you turn your mic off.
Oh, sorry. They need to raise their marketing, I think, because what they need to do is...
Well, right. We didn't know these were coming out until like right prior
and
to
not
them.
even just that, like what gave the second cable television boom? Things like The Sopranos and later on Dexter, and they got those out by word of mouth, right? So the problem isn't necessarily raising the price point. The problem is letting people know that you have this shit, so it raises actual subscriptions.
Yep. So
we know where the money is going.
Shitty at that. They are the worst for like a multi-gazillion-dollar company. Like,
yeah, like I've been trying to dig a little bit deeper now into Netflix stuff because it is difficult to find out what's releasing when, and yeah, like this one is. I'm obviously I'm glad that we knew about this one and then the one we're doing next week, but Hold the Dark just kind of, was just there, and I'm like, holy shit, there's a new Jeremy Saulnier movie on Netflix. I didn't even know.
Just fell in our lap.
Yeah, so I do wish there was a way, even if you have to like subscribe to genres or something like that, and then get notifications about like, hey, this movie's coming out on this day. Like, I just wish they'd have a better method because they don't necessarily need to market because they're just there. And I think what they're hoping on is the algorithm that the people who are like, what's hot algorithm, you know? Right. So I think that's what they're relying on maybe, but it's difficult to find these movies when they come out, and I do wish that Netflix could do something about that.
I mean, Audible does something like that. You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
They'll tell me if a new Stephen King book comes out.
We got a Raven J.
Wow.
All right, I'm going to show in 1 sec. This is amazing, but
wowzers.
Let me just finish what I was saying first. And
the black really makes it pop.
Yeah. So next week, we're doing another Netflix exclusive. And Mars, this is tangentially related. He just saw the picture. Mars, next week's movie is tangentially related to
me.
Gareth Evans.
This film is my uncle.
Nope. It is a film directed by Timo Tehonto, who is
Yeah.
one of the Mo brothers.
Mhm.
And it stars Iko Uwais,
Who is
the star of the Raid films.
my 1A favorite action star.
And the name of the movie is The Night Comes for Us.
Man, I can't wait.
I've heard a lot of good stuff about this. This is the director of Headshot.
This is my favorite movie of the year, I think.
You think it's gonna be?
I mean, think about it. Like Headshot, like how I'm still mad at Raven Shadow fucking.
He forgot.
Yeah, jacking off all over Headshot when we watched it, and then not remembering
Forgetting,
that there was a Headshot.
Well, if many things, when the moment's passed.
Yeah, well, Goldface, number one. Yeah, right. Tucker and Dale, Dale Tucker dies.
The Russian movie.
All right, so next week we are going to do The Night Comes for Us, and it is going to be released on the 19th of October. So it'll be on Netflix as of Friday the 19th. So give this movie a look. And this one, just so you guys know, it's 2 hours and 1 minute. It's not quite as long as Apostle, but it is just a shade over 2 hours. So make sure you don't watch it at fucking 3 a.m. Raven Shadow.
Oh, what the fuck?
This is our third 2 hour plus film in a row.
From Netflix.
Yeah.
All from Netflix.
Yeah.
A nice tight 99-minute flick is nice. It's much brighter Reanimator.
Yeah, but that's just no good.
Really?
Yeah.
You want this?
Why do you have it?
Because we bought it for you. We all chipped in.
Have you ever seen the Reanimator?
They made the first one?
Wow.
I know, yeah. Well, you should have been here.
Why are you on this podcast?
Why? Well,
Yeah, it's a very good question.
Yeah, I've been asking that for so long.
Because I've been color commentary.
You haven't seen the Reanimator?
Yeah. This is Reanimator. That was a sequel, right? I saw the Animator.
The sequel to the Animator?
Yeah, to the Animator. That's a Tim Burton movie, right?
In the vein of Batman.
Yeah, Batman Returns. He has a pencil in that movie. Speaking of pencils, what's this, Johnny?
So here is the latest Raven J, and this is from earlier when MZ was saying esk. Holy shit! I love the coloring.
I know. That's a whole new.
You're saying esk in the mirror, and then there's an Eskimo that comes up behind you, right? Is that what's going on here? Yeah. Wow.
That's pretty
I love how you look like a fucking goblin or ogre or whatever. The Eskimo.
He always gives you the pointy ears. He loves
I'm a
giving you
monster.
pointy ears.
He is a monster.
The Eskimo looks kind of like the fucking from that scene in Pulp Fiction when Butch is watching TV.
You and Dr. Tenderfoot. That's Clutch Grabwell, baby.
That's too
Clutch
funny.
Cargo, not Clutch Grabwell.
Sorry.
That's
another
amazing.
masterpiece.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a masterpiece, Raven J. Thank you,
We
buddy.
need that fucking book, man, or the fucking
The
calendar.
coloring book?
Yeah.
I don't know how you're going to color that in, but
So good.
You and Dr. Tenderfoot. That's my favorite line in Pulp Fiction.
Oh, no. FTM had my back. He says, "You're welcome, Johnny." And Leanna says, "Wonderful. Fetch me my ass cane."
That's my ass cane.
Riku says, "Raven Shadow, even I have seen Reanimator."
look at all the
I've
warts on
seen
my neck.
Reanimator.
What happens?
He animates shit.
Ah, jeez.
There's a head in the fucking pan.
Look at all the warts on my neck.
He runs around. I know. I didn't see Reanimator.
Oh, my God. Jeffrey Combs with the fucking Mountain Dew colored.
That's why you don't get as mad at me as you should when I tell you to get a job in a sideshow. Once you see that, you'll get real mad.
Move your dead bones.
Move those dead bones. Move those dead bones.
I don't know. I think when we watched it, I might have lied about it.
You alive. And it
I
makes
don't
your
think
feet.
it was done on the show.
We did.
Okay, we'll watch it.
I can
All right,
see
I'll watch
the
it. Why are you
calling. I'm your
I'm sure it's available.
Yeah.
Then you'll have some green color, and then you'll ask for more.
Jesse G says, "Johnny, I may have spoiled Apostles a little, so maybe don't play the voicemail I sent."
Fuck. Well, that's one less voicemail anyway. For more. Move them dead bones. Move them dead bones. I was even dancing on stage during the last show. I don't do that often.
How about that?
All right, so
What?
Was someone gonna say something?
No,
I was just gonna say you don't dance on stage. Is that like you don't swear on the
no,
on stage?
No, like I might walk around like a monkey or masturbate the mic, but I don't dance on stage.
You do the
Yeah, and you don't take your clothes off.
You do the masturbate.
I kept my clothes on this time.
This time.
Barely.
I was dressed really.
Not downstairs though.
I was
not
dressed.
downstairs.
I was dressed really fucking good.
You look like a bellboy. A bellhop.
That's a bellhop. Like it was a movie.
A sexy bellhop.
It's a movie theater usher coat from back in the day.
An evil bellhop.
You'll have some green color, and then you'll ask for more.
All right, so we'll go take a break. How about that?
And move them dead bones. Move them the bones.
Please.
By the way, we scheduled an interview for November. That is really exciting.
Yes.
Is it Dr. Reanimator?
No, I'll tell you in a second. We'll go to break.
Reanimate your feet.
So,
Yes.
all right. So, looking forward to that. We're not going to tell you just yet, but we'll tell you as it's about to happen. But we have an exciting interview coming in November, maybe a second one in November that we're working on right now, and some other fun stuff. We did some networking at Rocket Chuck, so some other stuff that should be coming up. So, we're going to take a break. MZ, how long until we're back?
And 2 and 2.
You go through your week with the same old routine.
What you really want is some blood and thunder in your life.
Well, friend, you found it.
The Cromcast is an adventurous journey through the history of two-fisted pulp stories.
With your hosts John,
Josh,
and Luke.
We have action,
horror,
and adventure, all through the lens of pulp luminary Robert E. Howard.
Don't just stay in your ordinary life.
Find your pulp life at thecromcast.blogspot.com.
The Cromcast.
The Cromcast.
The Cromcast.
A podcast for the barbarian at heart.
Hey, you matzo heads. This is Larry Fine, and you're listening to Trick or Treat Radio.
Hello. This is the Sasquatch, a.k.a. Bigfoot, but you can just call me Frank. And when I'm not stomping around the woods throwing rocks at hunters, I like to listen to the Paranormal Punchers podcast. That's right, Paranormal Punchers. They talk about all things paranormal, and they're hilarious. Go find them on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Google Play, and ParanormalPunchers.com.
Trick or Treat Radio, man. That's where it's at. That's the new Fangoria Radio.
All right, we're back with Trick or Treat Radio. This is an oldie but a goodie, Mars.
Yeah, it is a goodie. Song about gunfighters and hell and stuff.
Yeah. It's 13 Evil Bastards from the Deadites.
13 You Bastards, parentheses.
Showdown
at the Midnight
Mist. Yep.
I don't like the parentheses.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I'll be perfectly honest with you. 13 Evil Bastards is
Do you want me to go back
title.
to 1994 and remove them?
Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
you
I'll
can
see
remove
what I
anytime you want.
I can't even fucking get the fucking notifications under wraps so that. And you want me to go time travel? I'm fucking posting things where they don't belong. It's a bad night, Johnny.
Oh, one thing I wanted to mention, I don't have a release date specifically, but I do know we sort of tiptoed around the fact that the Ranger got distribution, and it just came out a few days ago that Shudder picked it up.
Oh, nice.
So
That's a good place for that.
Yeah. So Shudder will be releasing the Ranger at some point. I think I saw that it was going to be next year, so sometime in 2019. It looks like.
During Ted Raimi's panel, he was talking about that he's doing a miniseries on Shudder, and he said the way they do it, if I'm paraphrasing now, is going to change the way that people do miniseries. They do it a really interesting way. So I think Shudder is going to become a fucking entity. And
yeah, they've got some good stuff. And Lana just posted in the chat room, I hear The Witch in the Window is going to be good. It's on Shudder the 19th, and I've heard some good things about that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so between it's crazy. It seems like streaming networks like Shudder and Netflix are much more viable now, and as opposed to VOD, it's interesting to have a sort of a secondary market vying for your business as a filmmaker,
Right.
which is really interesting and really cool. So,
that's a much more tangible arms race because VOD, almost everybody that has you want to get it on every single one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like to be sought after by someone,
Yeah.
So.
And it's kind of like us, like in terms of the Deadites, we just released the album on CD Baby, and then that populates it on other places.
Right.
Like you can get a self-distribution deal like that, but there's also not much money to be made because you're not getting paid from a distributor.
Right.
But in terms of like something like that, like I have no idea how much the Ranger was acquired for, but I'm sure that Jen Wexler and the production company's got a decent chunk of change to at least maybe give them something to go get them through to the next thing,
Sure. I mean, only if there were more women who were interested in making horror movies, I guess, is really the...
Yeah, right.
What a fucking moron. But I am, as an aside, I am super excited for The Witch in the Window. Super excited. That wardrobe was getting so fucking crowded.
Wow.
And she had to get out of there. That lion was running amok, shedding everywhere. Now she's got her own window.
Yep. All right.
It's at the Rocket Shock. What do you want?
More effort. That's what I want.
I'm really honest. I think I fell asleep during this podcast.
You did not.
I had a dream I sang the Reanimate song.
You did.
That was no
That was
dream.
no dream. That was a nightmare for us.
Sex and don't be true. Freedom is eternal. You move those dead bones. You know who loves that song?
Who?
Al Gore.
You sure?
Yeah, it's not. I wouldn't think it is, but.
All right. Well, let's do some voicemail. We'll get a bunch of them. So.
Does this mean I have to put on headphones?
Yep. If you want to hear our friends. Yeah.
Is that a trick question?
If you care about the people that pay our bills.
He doesn't give a shit.
I don't care about it. I don't care about you
He
guys.
doesn't give a
I
shit.
care about the people that care about you, Aries. And you, Johnny. And 25% you, Monster Zero.
Thank you. Which part?
Yeah, which 25% is balls. It takes up 25% of his body mass.
Tell you what,
I'll tell you, that's about 30% if you really want to be honest.
My new favorite fucking part of the fall is that I don't have to see your fucking sidewinders come out of your weird fucking tank top. Your fucking Abdul the Butcher cosplay.
I do not have Abdul the Butcher.
You do have sidewinders. Come on.
I do not.
Yeah, you do. Take your shirt off.
No.
I put on 10 pounds this recently. Can you tell? Maybe over the weekend.
Yeah,
Because
because
of
all
all
the candy that
Yeah, popcorn
You
and
did
Mountain
not put
Dew.
on 10 pounds over a weekend.
I think I did.
Feels like. No,
well,
I mean,
all right. You maybe.
You ate a 10-pound burger.
You ate 10 pounds of popcorn
And you did
Mountain
shit
Dew.
for 3 days.
Yeah, but I ate that popcorn
Yeah.
over 3 days.
Yeah, How many Mountain Dews did you have over at Uno's?
It's
Just
enough.
at Uno's?
Like
Enough.
6 or 7?
I think over the course of the days I had 14 or 15.
Jesus Christ.
Whatever. Who wants to
That's
live?
insane.
Who wants to live forever?
A lot of people
Freddie
do. if they-
Mercury?
Motherfucker, you stink.
Oh, you do stink.
Motherfucker, you stink.
You smell like cigarettes.
You smell like an ashtray, not
Yeah, I'm gonna
cigarettes.
fucking shame
My
you.
Mountain Dew smells delicious when I drink
I'm gonna
it.
shame you, Raven Shadow.
You taste like an ashtray.
don't need any help.
I don't think I like you anymore.
See, that's the thing. I might have bad habits, Raven Shadow, but no one else has to deal with them.
Oh, no.
Are you sure?
We do.
What? Name one.
What? When you eat something that doesn't agree with you and you get gassy and shitty and...
He's got a point.
Crop dust.
Yeah.
All right, let's get us some voicemail. What the fuck?
What's with the evil laugh?
He's showing me a blank screen.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
This,
Hit the button.
Oh, that's
This
funny.
is good radio. Here we go.
Sorry.
I'm looking at myself. What am I
don't
looking
know
at?
what's going on. What the hell happened to my phone?
Use
don't
your
know.
words.
I can't. It might be secret.
Just play the goddamn voicemail.
All right, so let's kick things off with our surprise guest from the weekend, Evil Corny.
Hey guys, this is Evil Corny. Guys, I really enjoyed myself this weekend at Rock and Shock. I really loved the Deadite show. I'm really thankful that you all welcomed me to Wisher Mass, and I had a good time with you all. I really appreciate everything you all did for me while I was there, and it was good seeing you all for the first time. Thanks a lot. I really miss being around you all when I got back to Alabama. And I kind of wish that I could have had more of a day on Thursday to kind of hang with you all. But everything happened with the airport situation with me. I especially want to thank Raven Shadow. I think he's probably one of the better proprietors of B&B, probably since Bob Newhart. You all have a good one. Evil Corny out. Oh, yeah, I did watch The Apostle on Monday. Really enjoyed the film. Gary Fett is slowly becoming one of my favorite directors because I love the Raid films 1 and 2. And Apostle, I'll fix that Apostle. That's a Robert Duvall film. Yeah, but Apostle was a really good film. I really enjoyed it. Y'all have a good one. Evil Corny out. What up, Raven Shadow?
What up, Evil Corny? So exciting.
You should You should rent out your some rooms for Airbnb. Sexy Speakeasy.
I'm telling you, man, my attraction
make some money.
Oh, my attraction gets the biggest reaction, dude. People just really seem to enjoy it and like being over, so it's nice.
You like hosting?
I like hosting. I like hosting like 1 or 2 people.
So
ever?
You're a bed and breakfast then?
Yeah.
So you're the proprietor of the bed and breakfast?
No, it's Sexy Speakeasy, baby.
No, bed and breakfast.
Nah, man, it's fucking booze and beds.
Jesus Christ.
Booze and beds.
Yeah, booze and beds. That's my new Airbnb.
Wow.
You could not.
I'm still. That's not defining.
I'm still working on it.
I'm not. It's really. It's not the. I'm not going to marketing yet.
Unreal.
You just, the best part is that as opposed to air that we breathe, you make it sound like you were staying at an ear B&B.
Yeah, it's A, B, and B.
Yeah, like so that you someone's staying inside someone's ear.
Well, yeah, we listen to each other.
What'd you say?
Yeah, see, well, you haven't been over in a long time, Johnny.
No, I wasn't listening to you.
Well, don't worry. He'll invite you over again next time he needs an entertainment center.
John, I gotta.
You need a new phone, huh?
Yeah. We gotta go to the Verizon store.
You know that they will do that for you, right?
You shouldn't cast stones about inviting people over to fix shit.
No, I flat out fucking no. When you come to my house, you know, like I called like there's water in my fucking basement or something else. It's not like, oh, you want to plug in my Blu-ray player and like there's like a whole room in boxes.
No, listen, we were
literally,
shopping.
he was taking me to Sexy Speakeasy, and it looked like the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Well, it wasn't there yet. It's a lot different now.
All right, well, let's hear. This is Carlito's thoughts on horror conventions.
Carlito.
Hey, Trick or Treat Radio. This is Carlitos. How you guys doing? Thought I'd call and talk to you guys about Rock and Shock. Which I can't really say too much because, unfortunately, I wasn't able to go this year. But that's okay, because I went to a little horror con myself that same weekend. I got to meet Ken Foray and the Ladies of the Evil Dead, saw Ray Weiss and Eddie Furlong, which the wife wanted to take a picture, but then she saw what he looks like today and kind of declined.
Jeepers creepers.
Well, you know, I guess that's how it goes. But did MZ get to meet Linda Blair? Yeah. I got to meet Linda Blair this year too. It was actually the same con, but it was this past the one they had one this past summer. They had 2 this year. The one I went to this past weekend was the second one, and she was cool. Funny story a little bit, maybe, I don't know, but after meeting her and having her sign what I had her sign, which was just an 8x10 picture because my sister had my copy of The Exorcist, she saw that I had Asia with me, and after she was telling me about her website and all the websites that I could go to that would contribute to her her World Animal Health Fund, whatever it is, I'm not sure, I can't remember now, but she gave me, and then she saw that I had Asia with me, and she says, okay, so here's a list of family-friendly movies that I started. I was like, oh, okay, so as I went on my way, I looked at the list, and I saw that this list Okay, let me see. Let me read a few here. Hell Knight. Okay. Sweet Hostage.
Yes.
Dead Sleep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go to bed.
Stranger in Our House, also known as Summer of Fear.
Grotesque. I wonder if that's a
Born
good
Innocent and
Cage Heat.
Sarah T. Portrait of a Teenage Alcoholic.
Oh,
that's a PSA.
Actually, the only family-friendly film I see on here is actually maybe Wild Horse Hank. I've never seen that. I think Roller Boogie's okay for her. Yeah. All right. So maybe we'll just watch Hell Night, huh, Asia? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, good. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and traumatize my daughter. I'll let you guys go, and you guys have a good night. Actually, I'm gonna send another message about Apostle. You guys have a good one. Bye.
All right. Did you get to meet Linda Blair, MZ?
No, I saw her, but I did not.
She ran the other way.
Security. She looks fantastic, though.
Does she? I didn't see her.
Yeah, she looked good.
I only went over to the the celebrity area briefly once, but she looked good.
You know, I mean, she was in Witchery with David Hasselhoff. She did Repossessed.
I'm gonna watch Witchery as part of my 31 days.
Is it?
Witchery do.
Nice. You know, Hell Night and Savage Streets.
Is that a movie for kids? Hell Night?
Savage Streets is. I think everyone should watch that movie.
Well, thank you, Carlitos. We got another voicemail from the man himself. He's going to talk about Apostle.
Hey, Trick or Treat Radio. It's Carlitos again. Thought I'd give my thoughts on Apostole. That must be Italian.
Yeah, forget about me.
No, it's Apostolo.
Oh, Apostle. You sure? All right. So yeah, I was pretty pumped up to watch this movie. I'm a big Garth Evans fan myself. I'm a huge fan of the Raid films and pretty much everything else that he's done, like Marinto and his segment VHS 2. I won't go too deep into it, but I did like this. I'm not gonna say it's just my favorite. The Raid films are pretty hard to beat, but this is a very good movie, very well shot. Takes some cool turns. Really like Dan Stevens in the film. He just he scowls a lot in this movie. He's just scowling his way, and he's trying to. I don't know if he's trying to outdo Clint Eastwood in the scowl department, or I don't know, maybe Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, just scowling his way through this entire movie. So much scowling. But it's a good performance nonetheless. I actually did enjoy him in this film, and the end was pretty wild. I think it was paced okay. It didn't feel too long. I mean, at 2:15, I felt like it didn't. I felt that it built up nicely to the climax, which was crazy. Pretty original, I would say. Not too. Can't really think of too much about what this movie has done, but it's not the action extravaganza I was hoping Garth Ennis would give for his next movie, but there were some flourishes of what he's known for here. A very stabby movie, like the Raid films, especially like towards the end, and some fights that were just kind of, they weren't martial arts fights, but they were rough fights. That was really good, and but yeah, I did like this. It's a good movie. And that's my thoughts, and that's about it. So you guys have a good night, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Yeah.
All right, Carlitos.
And look for Dan Stevens in Apostle 2, still scowling.
Look for Dan Stevens at Prick Fury and the Scowling Commandos.
All right, so we appreciate that, buddy. Thanks for letting us know your thoughts. And now we are going to hear from our buddy, had my back earlier, First Time Mike.
What's up, Trick or Treat family? This is First Time Mike. How's everybody doing? Hoping you guys are pretty much recovered from your crazy Rock and Shock weekend. Watching in the videos and checking out the pictures on Facebook, you guys look like you had a blast. And I'm glad everybody is safe and sound and in the studio tonight. Want to talk a little bit about The Apostle. Because I watched it on Netflix today because I knew you guys were reviewing it, and my good friend Joe recommended it as well, saying it starts out slow, but it's ultimately a good movie. One of the things about this movie is you can't talk about a lot of it because if you find out some of the spoilers before you see the movie, I think it kind of takes something away from it. But ultimately, what you can talk about is The Apostle is a story about belief, about losing faith, about regaining faith, about how faith can be used for good, for evil, and how some people are truly have faith in something higher, and some people just use that power to bully and manipulate. It's a beautifully shot movie, and a lot of the times the colors of at the seaside scenery clash with the sullen, almost oppressively gray view of the village that all the characters are in. I don't want to say more about it because I don't want to give away spoilers because I think that would ruin the movie for a lot of it, because some of the movie went in different ways than I thought it was going to go just by seeing the trailer and the little description they had on Netflix. I say The Apostle is a treat. It's not for everybody. If you're watching a movie with somebody that doesn't like a slow burn, they might get thrown off by some of it, but once the chaos gets going, it gets going. And I think it's one of the better Netflix movies I've seen. Gorgeous film. Uses the setting very well to create a area of isolation. That's the word I'm looking for. Isolation. And again, we're checking out The Apostle. So just have two questions. First question, Monster Zero. According to one of the videos, you had the burger that was, and I quote, 3,740 calories. My mother would like to know if you actually ate that burger and finished it. Second question, this happened to me on...
Well, just that question now, MZ. I think we did earlier. So.
I polished that off.
He devoured it.
Sweat.
Yes.
And all the sides that came along with it? Fries?
All the sides and the appetizer.
And what'd you have to drink? You had, I
had one bottle of Dos Equis.
Dos Equis. You wanted a Heineken, but they were out, right? Or Guinness.
No, Guinness.
That's right. Sorry.
But they were
Guinness.
out.
Yep.
Yes.
I would have divorced you right now if you ever drank a fucking Heineken.
No,
Oh, so would I.
That was just me messing up. It was a Guinness.
So would I. I would never drink that slop.
All right, let's continue with First Time Mike.
Saturday, I went with a special somebody, and we went on a ghost boat tour in the Wisconsin Dells. Basically, we took a boat to, there's some natural canyons in Wisconsin, and they set up a haunted house area in the natural canyons. So you're walking under the starlight, exploring the cavern, and there was some really good scares. As you're going through it, you get to a center part where they have a quote-unquote cannibal house, and there's, the people working the haunted house are interacting with the people going through, and one guy got scared really good. It was this screaming pretty lady dressed up kind of like Wednesday Addams, and she's going around screaming at people and just using the secret patches to walk right in front of them, and she gets this guy good, and everybody just has a laugh. And so you just hear this guy just start complaining and whining, and the funny part is the lady that was working in the haunted house just started mocking this guy for a good 10-15 minutes, and he goes, "Oh, are you scared there, Dan?" And who's the baby now, Dan? Look, this little kid's laughing and you're complaining about it. Just nonstop. My question for you is this. If you're going to a haunted house, do you think that it's part of the social contract that you can't act like let's be honest, like a little bitch if you get scared really good. This is first time Mike. Glad that you guys had a good time. Trying to keep this under 5 minutes. Wishing you all the best. Bye-bye.
All right, first time Mike. Well, first of all, thanks for the call, buddy. We always love hearing from you. And I guess, MZ, you and I would be uniquely qualified to answer that question. You and I worked at a haunted house, right?
Mhm.
So, I guess to paraphrase, basically, is it okay for him to act like a little bitch when he gets scared? Like, so
if he's doing it on purpose,
well,
if he's accentuating it, or
well, I don't know. I think the thing was, I mean, we've seen MZ and I worked at like this huge horror theme park in New England.
America's Horror Theme Park.
Yep, it was, yeah. And so we've seen everything from people shitting their pants, literally, like getting scared, shitting their pants, to pissing their pants,
puking,
to puking, to punching actors, to running. Like, we've seen a lot of different things.
They really pooped their pants?
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You can smell it.
Really? You're shocked by that? You're in a room with someone that will shit themselves for no reason.
Well, I mean,
it's true.
Fair, but all right.
So I've seen a lot of different reactions, and also just even going to movies, when people get scared, they laugh. Like, they don't know how to react. And I that was also something I saw at the haunted house, is when people got scared, they didn't know how to react, and their initial reaction was to laugh, because that's how they can deal with fear.
Right.
So I think that, I'm not saying, I don't know if the guy was purposely being a dick. I don't know. I mean, obviously I wasn't there, but people have odd reactions to being scared, and especially if it's like, let's say it's a big, like, manly man, and he's all about being, not showing I'm using finger quotes, a weaker side of him or something like that. I
He has
could
a big
see
beard and drinks whiskey a lot.
His alpha male machismo sort of side.
Yeah, so first time Mike says we got the impression he was mad because he got scared. So that's kind of where I was going with that, is maybe he was embarrassed that he got scared, and maybe he was in front of some other people. He didn't want to appear that way. So I could see someone kind of turning that around, because when you sort of lose control of your functions in a way, and when you get scared, like, that's a reaction that you don't expect. You sort of are going against your natural reaction, and so I think, I don't know. I mean, if he's purposely acting like a dick afterwards to kind of cover up being embarrassed, then that's pretty shitty.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone should just feel comfortable however they react.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with being scared, regardless of what it is.
Well, I think the problem is two reasons to go to a haunted house. One is to be scared. The other is to show how brave you can be and not be scared. And if you're going there to show that you can't be scared and you get scared, you're going to be embarrassed and you're going to get defensive.
Yep.
Well, then shit, if you're so worried about being scared, then don't fucking go.
Well, exactly. I'm not, yeah.
Yeah. So we've seen a lot of that. Yeah. Can you think of any examples, MZ? Specific examples, or?
I remember one guy in the, because I worked in the Das Mineshaft.
Das Mineshaft.
Yeah, I was a like a zombified.
It was
miner.
By the way, it was just the mine shaft.
Yeah. And I remember one guy came in and just punched one of the actors. I forget who it was.
Yeah.
But he was like really he was throwing haymakers left and right, and he had to be like literally carried out.
Was it you that got punched?
No, it wasn't me.
Because I was thinking maybe they heard your Apostle review.
No, it wasn't me.
Why don't you go down and work at Tiny White's Haunted Maze?
Because Tiny doesn't want actors.
Yeah.
That's why he's perfect.
He wants security.
Well, why don't you go do security?
Oh, if why don't you work at America's Haunted Theme Park? Why don't you go through America's Haunted Theme Park?
It's close.
Oh, shit. I was going to say, because it's been a while since somebody shit their pants there for no reason at all.
I know. When is your birthday?
Did you shit your pants in the maze, Mars?
No. I did get lost in it though.
Tiny, I can't get out.
In little, like an army of small girls who were like lapping me over and over again, like just kept walking by, like you don't know the way out. And, like, they'd run
Well, they all had The Shining.
The shitting.
That's how they could get out.
All right. Well, let's hear from one of Dynamo's children, one of two in this block of voicemails. Is this the one that's still in the will?
I don't know because
Jesse G.
He's going to be spoiler. Don't play his thing.
No, it sounds like there's two parts of it. So if it gets spoilery, I'll cut it off.
What's up, Trick or Treat fam? Jesse G here, leaving a quick
Jesse
voicemail
G.
talking last week's movie and this week's movie. I thought Hold the Dark was great. I love all of Jeremy Saulnier's films, thanks to you guys. I still think, I feel like Blue Ruin is still probably my favorite, but I thought Hold the Dark was really good too. I don't know if anyone caught it, but in the beginning, early on in the film, when the writer goes on his initial hunt, or like scouting mission to find that wolf den, he like stumbles upon them doing something. I don't want to give it away, but it kind of gave some foreshadowing, or kind of straight up spoiled that initial mystery, or like the reason why he was there in the first place. For me, anyways. I'm kind of curious to see if you guys caught that as well. But yeah, Hold the Dark, great film. Next up, Apostle. Guys, I fucking love this movie. Like, it fucking blew me away. I watched it last night, and had my fucking headphones on at my computer desk, just like I could not look away from this movie. I thought it was really cool. The atmosphere in this was just super heavy, and I dug it a lot. The creatures were really fucking cool. That witch was awesome. The initial couple of scenes when you see her, there's one in the hall where they did kind of the quick change, like focus that they do in a lot of horror films now, where she just like kind of appeared in the background. I thought was like, yeah. I thought they did it so well. It was so oh my god, excuse me.
He is
so
your
subtle.
son.
I really like that, and then the scene where she's under the floorboards, like, and you kind of see what happens.
Did you pause it?
That was something like out of Baskin. I got like a crazy Baskin vibe from that, like, half-second like up close shot of her under the boards there.
All right, we'll pause it there just in case it goes any further. But I'm glad we at least got to hear Jesse G's thoughts on Hold the Dark, which he enjoyed, and then also he sounded like he fucking loved this movie too. So. Netflix knocking it out of the park.
There is the possibility that we watch a big chunk of all of our top 5, like 3 weeks in a row, right?
On
That's
Netflix?
crazy, yeah.
Could be. Yeah, we've had pretty good luck. So, knock on wood, yeah. All right, well, next, let's hear from this dude.
How's it going, guys? Munster Churro here. Calling in from the dance floor of the Cold Music Hall. Currently calling in, talking to the Deadite. We got Fabio Frizzi here calling in.
Fabio Frizzi, and all I can say is I love butt stuff.
We're having a grand old time here down on Cold Music Hall here, Rock and Talk Weekend. I just wanted to call and say that you guys are putting
You're
on a
my
great
favorite people, and somehow I never want to see any of you again because you bring out the worst in me. The worst.
Fabio Frizzi is saying you guys are the best ever. And to be honest, I don't know if I agree or not. But right now, I gotta say that you are. And I gotta go because we're singing along here. Okay, anyways. Talk to you later, guys. Okay, bye.
I can't believe we called from the fucking floor of the show.
I like butt stuff.
I like
Perfect.
butt stuff.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, he slept at my house.
Was your butt sore?
Ooh.
Because it could have been that you pooped your pants. So.
No, he had a donut.
We did stop for donuts in Burger King. Although me and Fabio Frizzi somehow managed to spend like $60 in those two spaces at Green Street and didn't eat anything.
Well, feces makes a good lubricant.
Wowzers. Is it Fabio Feces?
Did you really just say what you said?
Yeah, I did.
You fucking
Wowzers.
all pun intended piece of shit.
Wow. All right, I think we got another one from that same number.
How's it going, guys? Monster Churro here, calling in. The set hasn't ended yet, and I don't really know what to do. I've been dancing, my feet are sore, my balls are blue. I'm just wondering when you guys are gonna call it a day. Anyways, hit me back on my line. Anyways, talk to you later. Okay, bye.
Did you guys know Monster Churro was there?
I didn't know.
I had no idea. I didn't see him.
There's so many people, though.
I would have loved to meet him.
Hey, guys.
His balls are blue. Well, apparently Monster Churro's feet were a little sore after the show.
Yeah, I guess.
All right, well, let's hear from Riku.
Thank you.
Hey, Trick or Treat Radio, it's Riku. So I watched Apostle this week, thanks to Mixtape Massacre for turning me on to this movie, and I really, really enjoyed it. I'm not the biggest horror fan in the world, but this was really good, and the setting was really good, the music was good, the designs of certain characters felt like they worked. I enjoyed the music. It felt really well put together. The ending was a little weird, but I kind of thought about it afterwards, and I was like, that kind of makes sense. Anyway, it's really hard not to spoil this, so I have newfound respect for you guys when it comes to talking about movies. All right, talk to you later. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Thanks, Riku. Thanks for leaving us your thoughts. And yes, it is a little difficult to discuss. That's why we try to speak in general terms, but we don't always succeed. So thanks, buddy. Glad you dug it.
Monster Churro.
Monster Churro. Sounds a little bit like you.
Maybe it is.
I'm tired.
All right, we got two more, and they're from the same person. That would be Dynamo's son, who's no longer in the will.
No, he's back.
He's back?
Yeah.
Oh.
He was at the Trick or Treat Radio live show.
Yeah, what did he do to get back?
Well, you know what's funny about that, though? The other day at my store, Alberto came in.
Oh, my boy.
Yeah, and I thought
not that kind of boy, but
yeah, no, and I thought it was Pabst when I was at the other end of the
I guess
thing.
they do kind of look a
Then
little.
I got really happy when I walked up on stage. I thought Alberto was in the crowd, but it was Pabst. So I waved at him, and he waved back, and then we were fucking committed, so I had to put it back in the will.
All right, well, let's hear from him.
Hey guys, it's Paps just calling in. I watched the movie you guys watched this week, Apostle, whatever, last night, and I thought it was pretty good. Some parts were pretty cool. I thought some of the gore in it was pretty well done, although sometimes it kind of messed with the tone and sort of ventured into sort of like slapstick, a little bit over the top territory. Story got a little convoluted at times. I feel like they could have executed the whole thing a little bit better. And especially considering that it was, over 2 hours and there was still stuff that kind of left me scratching my head a little bit at the end. I dug it, didn't love it, probably won't watch it again. But I gave it a tepid treat. There we go. Next, I wanted to say that I had an absolute blast at Rock and Shock on Saturday. I had a ton of fun watching you guys' little panel thing. It was great. It was hilarious. It was great to hang out with you guys. meeting, a whole bunch of people, Derek Rook, Jared Blinkhorn. It's great to meet Corny. I wish I got to talk to him a little bit more. I had to leave a little early though, but yeah, had an absolute blast. Loved it. And I wanted to ask you guys what your favorite part of the weekend was. So, I was only really around for Saturday, and your panel was really the only thing that I checked out in terms of like the discussions and stuff like that. But I want to know from you guys, what was your favorite part of the weekend? And again, just want to say I had a blast. Rebecca had a blast. And I'm looking forward to listening in tonight. And also, Rebecca owes me a 6-pack because I did not swear once in that voicemail. So have a great night. Peace.
Congratulations. Well, thank you, Paps. I'm glad you had fun. It was good hanging out with you too, buddy.
Then I should get a lot of 6-packs.
No, you swore a lot in the panel.
Cis-packs?
Yeah.
What's a cis-pack?
I never swear.
A song of sixpence.
I swear.
A song of six-packs.
Cis-pack. Make some noise. I never swear.
The fuck you don't.
I am like church ready and rock steady all the time.
What church do you go to?
Church of the fucking Holy God.
Listen, I don't swear.
It's nice.
All right. You did in front of Jasper, though.
3 times.
Yeah.
That kid's got a potty mouth, though.
He does
Yeah.
not.
Yeah,
He's a bad influence.
Yeah, he was smoking outside with me.
Well, he does look pretty badass
Yeah,
in
he's
his leather
got that
jacket.
leather
Yeah, he
jacket
was rocking
going.
the Negan biker jacket.
Yeah.
We're going to Moines next year.
So Paps asked, what was our favorite part?
Oh, the panel. Our live show.
Yeah.
That was just the best. That and getting Blood Harvest.
Getting mixed by Roger LaValle.
That was the best.
That was my favorite.
The Bepso times.
It was like being in the embrace of your favorite ex-girlfriend. Like it was just felt so familiar, but like, sort of felt like it shouldn't be going on in 2018.
What? What are you talking about?
Like,
did you fall asleep again?
No, no, like I feel like we kind of I felt like all those parties had kind of moved on, and you know what I mean. Like, it fucking worked out. Nice. And it just was great to have that. If we never have it again, I'm happy that it happened. When I wish it happened for more people. But.
Favorite part of the weekend? I know I probably sound like a broken record, but just seeing everyone, I just love it.
Yeah.
I love meeting new people. I love seeing old friends, and I know we have more than just one new friend, but one of the friends that we hung out with that I'd never seen in person ever was Jimmy Gonzalez, and we had just met Jimmy just like a week prior, at least sort of talked to him for the first time. And just having him there all weekend, he was great, man. Like such a fucking cool guy, and he fit right in. Like it just was seamless, just hanging out. And I love being next to Bill and Kyle. And
I love those guys so fucking much.
Bill said like some nice things about all of us, and he pulled me aside. He's like, "Hey, dude," he's like, "We gotta get together sometime before Royal Rumble." I was like, "I just want to hang out with you guys." So, just real cool, like awesome folks, and just seeing everyone and. Seeing people who came in like Corny and Wiley, and just seeing people who we don't get to see very often, like even Kevin Barbary. Like, we saw him when he came in on last week, but we don't really get to see Kevin a lot.
So, I mean, we once again the name rabbit hole, but I mean that was my favorite part.
Of course.
Was the people, but gotta mention Sir Isaac in the house.
Yeah,
it was nice to see him.
Sir, yeah, absolutely.
Having Cornelius with us, I mean,
and I didn't get a lot of interaction with Jimmy Gonzalez, but we had a handful of conversations that were very.
He doesn't like you.
He does like me. He said very nice things.
No, he said you need more cinema therapy.
Yeah. Whoa.
Who
What's the
doesn't?
prescription?
Yeah, who doesn't?
I gave him $1.
Yeah, no, it's true. He mentioned that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I gave Corny $1.
Where's my $1?
Well, I gave you one, but you held on to it.
My favorite part was when I went to the bar, I got myself a beer.
I did give it to someone who needed it, though. It took like a week, but I gave it to someone.
Fair. Not sure what the time limit is on that, but you made it home safe. It's nice.
Aries, did you have a favorite part? Was it laughing at MZ?
Yeah, no, I mean, just generally meeting new people or getting reacquainted with
You hate people, though.
But he loves gatherings.
Oh, okay.
No, large groups but I hate, but like an individual, I like. Certain individuals. And there were quite a few that I did enjoy. I mean, especially Corny. I did.
None of which are in this.
Although I didn't jump up and hug him
You didn't kiss?
apparently like I was supposed to, because everyone was like, "That's Corny, that's Corny." I'm like, "Yeah, I know it's Corny. I'm meeting him. What do you want me to do?" Like,
You're supposed to give him a kiss. You owed him a kiss.
Little how's your
I figured I maybe I should like, how's it going before I, sit in the tongue.
He's from Alabama. He was in a fucking airport for like fucking 20 hours. Give him a hint.
Corny is definitely
Don't do
the.
that. He's all man.
And I know he won't be insulted when I say this. Corny is definitely the second best thing from Alabama.
What's the first?
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Then why'd you bring it up?
Yeah.
I don't know because I'm blushing. Can we move on?
You admitted it. All right. Anything else?
My face is hot.
Everyone say something? Okay. Let's hear. This is our last voicemail, and is the second one from Pabst.
Hey guys, sorry for the split up voicemail, but for my second part, just wanted to give you guys a quick little update on my month of horror. All right, so last I left off, Veronica was the last one. All right, so number 10, Dead Alive, amazing, incredible, one of the best.
Yep.
Peter Jackson, total masterpiece. Number 11, I watched A Tale of Two Sisters, South Korean one, which was a little difficult to follow. Admittedly, I was a little spacey when I was watching it, and looked at my phone every now and again. But despite this, I thought it was really awesome, very creepy, would definitely recommend. Number 12, Suspiria. I already talked to you guys about this. Saw it in theaters. It was incredible. Loved it. Number 13, part of that double feature with Suspiria was House of the Devil. Incredible movie. Absolutely loved it. Maybe even more than the last time I watched it. Number 14, Baskin. Beautiful movie. Well, maybe not beautiful, but very well made movie.
Beautifully brutal.
Great suspense. Well acted. Just incredible.
Not just the best.
Number 15, I watched A Nightmare Before Christmas, which, I think I can count that as a horror movie. I hadn't watched it for a very long time. Really, really enjoyed it. Loved the music in it. Danny Elfman did an incredible job. And number 16, last night I watched Apostle, and you guys already know my thoughts on that. I would say a resounding meh.
Out of the way.
All right, and that's it. And I won't take up any more of your time, and peace.
Out of the will again.
Are you just looking for excuses to get him out of the will?
No. Well,
I would think you would want someone to pay your bills when you're gone.
Yeah, well, it's not much left to it. That's like I have a bunch of. I realized today I do have enough Diet Mountain Dew barcodes that when I do kick the bucket, either Jesse G or Paps will be able to get a T-shirt.
I think that expired in like 94.
Yeah, probably.
Well,
is it like those Marlboro points?
Marlboro Miles.
It's not my fucking.
Sorry.
I did my part.
Which was?
I moved my waist. I exchanged some fluid. They were born. It's not my fault they were born after the thing I left them.
Leanna says, I'm amazed you guys are still going strong. We'll get that stamina.
I don't know if that's an insult or not.
We did start off slow, so we did sort of work up to it. It was a slow burn.
These cookies.
Is she talking tonight or just in general?
Oh, speaking of in general, I counted today because I was just curious. I've now produced 768 podcast episodes.
Wow.
Out of all the ones.
That's like cookie Viagra.
It's what?
I don't know.
What the fuck?
Are you having a stroke?
I think Ray Richardo did legitimately kill me. I'm so tired.
All right, we do need to end this because
I did open the store today.
It's getting late.
Yeah, goodbyes are getting long.
And I think we're all sort of running on fumes after Rock and Shock. It's not quite recovered yet. So
I dance so much. I dance so much.
Gary Busey eyes over here.
He'll fall off a motorcycle. His name's Michael, and he don't know what he's saying. Is he playing?
He's crazy as a fox. He's got Caribbean eyes. All right, MZ.
Reaver Dirks, douchebag.
Aries.
Goodbye.
Ray Jano.
Live fast, love hard, die with your mask on.
Mars.
Remember, children's, wherever you go, there you are. Whoa.
All right, and that is gonna do it for us and for episode 325. Big thanks to everyone who left voicemail. We had a lot of them tonight. We appreciate it, and big thanks to everyone who came out to see us at Rock and Shock.
Yes, thank you.
It was a blast, and we had a great time, and
especially Corny.
And I would like everyone to make arrangements to come out next year. That would be October 11th, 12th, 13th, 2019. It'll be fun. And we will put out a video sort of collage of what happened. I just don't know when it's going to be ready quite yet. Let's say I'm going to try to get it up before Halloween. So,
hey now. So much for being healthy.
Well, it'll still be. No, it's going to be up the whole time. All right, so that is going to do it. Next week, we will be discussing The Night Comes For Us on Netflix from Timo Tahanto and starring Iko Uwais. It should be a fun time. We will see you guys then. Come back and join us. And if you want, give us your thoughts on The Night Comes For Us. See ya.